now, rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is what? Always a blessing. Hopefully you guys are all doing well out there. Again, is it Wednesday? Happy hump day, okay? As long as, hopefully you're having a good hump day, all right? As long as it's consensual or whatever you want to call it, all right? But still, we got quite the show for you guys today. I know. You guys are like, where were you yesterday, Pascal? Where were you? I got messages, emails, all kinds of stuff. People were concerned about where I was and how I was doing. I'll explain everything in just a little bit, I promise. I'll explain everything in just a tiny bit. But again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys could be watching any other show, okay? But you decided to come in here, all right? And I appreciate that. It really means the world to me. Tina already saying, nobody's humping around out here. Wow. Okay, I guess we in the champagne room. Okay, there's no humping in the champagne room, so welcome into the champagne room. Okay, $100 for each day. I don't know. Okay, I've never been to a strip club in my life. Said no one ever. That is a full bold-faced lie. Let me just say that really quick, okay? But yes, I know, Danita, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I missed you guys too. Like I said, I'll explain here in just a hot minute, okay? And then we gotta get into the nitty-gritty. So before we do all that, before I explain to you what was going on, okay, please hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, I'm on there too, okay? Make sure you hit that follow button, hit that like button wherever you are watching this show right here, for sure. More importantly, though, make sure you subscribe to my main channel here on YouTube, The Pascal Show, so make sure you're going over there. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips, where I take clips from the show, put it over there, because sometimes these shows are long, and sometimes you just want to get the facts, get the information. So you go over to the Pascal Show Clips, you can get a shorter version of the show over there as well. So make sure you subscribe over there, the Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe, make sure you have that notification bell for both platforms so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because a lot of times it's random. Sorry, it's just, those are the breaks, okay? It's called, your man is busy. He's doing things, okay? So make sure that notification bell is set to all, okay? Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, check out my locals, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com, let me tell you something. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. We got some stuff that, there's t-shirts that have sayings on it, and then there's also handcrafted hoodies and t-shirts, okay? Made by yours truly, okay? With these two hands, real talk. So go check out PascalMerch.com, okay? I don't know why I did that, but just roll with it, okay? Don't judge, okay? It's been a long 48 hours. I'm going to explain here in a second, okay? I'm going to explain right now. In fact, let me just get this straight to the point. Okay, you didn't see me yesterday because honestly, one of the worst things that could ever happen in the hottest days of the freaking summer, guess what happened to me? Guess what happened? My AC went out. Do you know how bad that is? Do you know? I never knew I had so much hate in my heart until the last 48 hours. Yeah. So I don't know if you saw the last show. I might have been starting to perspire. There might have been some condensation on my forehead. You might be wondering why. Because while we were live, my AC just shut down. I didn't know it at that point. I thought maybe I was just, maybe I was talking and getting worked up, getting excited about the show or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We passionate over here on this show. And I'm thinking, man, maybe for some odd reason, it's just getting warm. Usually it's cold in this room, right? For the most part. But near the end of the show, things started getting a little moist. Okay. And so I got out and I realized that there was no air coming in through anywhere. The AC was out. So I had a whole day, all yesterday, dealing with people coming in to fix the AC. They were going in and out of the place. It was an absolute nightmare. Let me just say that. It got fixed, but it didn't get, like, it was overnight. We're all just sitting there, just roasting. Okay? Straight up roasting. It was the night from hell. Okay? I don't wish this on my worst enemy. I've realized that now because, like I said, I had so much. I never knew I had that much deep-rooted anger towards the heat. I never thought I'd be so mad at something that I cannot control, which is Mother Nature. Okay, I cannot control the heat, but man, was I mad. Okay, and of course, thank God, overnight it was cool enough, but it was still hot enough to realize it was hot. You know what I mean? Like everything was just freaking hot. Okay. And it doesn't matter. Even if outside is like, oh, it's only 70 degrees. No, it was still hot, y'all. It was still air. It wasn't like a breezy, cool air coming through. It was still. You open up the windows, the air is just like standing outside the window, like, I'm not coming in. I'm going to stand right here. I ain't breezing through your crib. So good luck, boo-boo. So it sucked. It was hot. I hated everything I hated everything. I hated everything. Okay. I wished the night would end. Eventually it did. Then we had the guys come in and do what they needed to do, but it was a whole day event. And I couldn't be in this room with all these lights. I got lights in this room. It's not just like, a light here and then these purple ass lights in the background. No. We got lights in this mug, okay? It gets warm in this biz-IE, including the computer and the monitors and all the stuff that's going on in here, okay? So, I wasn't going to do a show. All right? No. I was hoping I was going to, but things didn't get done until much, much later, right? Much, much later in the late afternoon, early evening. And by that time, I was like, I am so drained from the heat. I am so drained from I'm just so tired. I just said, F it. I ain't doing that. Okay. I ain't doing that today, So I just said, I'm just going to take that as a no-show today, And I didn't want to take the time off. I really didn't. You know how it is. I love my job. I love what I do. But I had to take the time off because it was just so damn hot. Even with the AC on, it took a minute for the place to get cold again. You know what I mean? To get cool again. So it just took a minute. I even got the fan on in here because it's still not fully cool in here yet. You see what I'm saying? So again, that's why I wasn't here. And like I said, I ain't never had so much hate in my heart for heat. You know what I'm saying? I had never been so mad in my life, but you learn, you learn new things about yourself when you're put through some weird times, real talk. And I'm kidding. I didn't have any hate for the heat. I can't control the heat. Okay. But at the same time, it just, it's unforgettable. How's that? And this is the worst time because it's July and it's only going to get hotter. So it just was crazy. Okay. Absolutely crazy. Now, here's the thing. But, before we get into everything, Carbonize, thank you so much for the love all the way from Canada. A proud bad Canadian person who wants the list revealed. Oh, okay. You're talking about, yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Honk, smash that like. Absolutely. Hit that like, guys. Don't forget. Okay, as you guys get in here. But here's the thing, guys. Okay, so there's a few things that I missed yesterday. So we are going to be talking about that. You know what I mean? Like kind of doing a catch up from things that happened yesterday. Like I said, it was so damn hot. I could bake bread in this mug. It was hot as an oven in this place. So I really couldn't do anything yesterday. So there's going to be a little bit of a catch up, but there's a lot going on today. And a lot of things happened overnight that we're going to talk about as well. I do have somebody very special coming onto the show here in just a few minutes here that I'm very, very excited about having on to talk about this particular case and this particular tragedy that just happened yesterday. Now, I don't know if you saw the thumbnail. This is why I say it's very important because I've been out here killing it with these mother loving thumbnails. Okay? My thumbnails be fire though. Okay? Remember about my thumbnails. Keep looking at the thumbnails because there's little bits and little, I put in a little hints here and there in the thumbnails. There's some main topics. There's main people, as you saw. You saw Epi, okay? You saw EpiPen, and then you saw the Trumpy Trump, okay? And then you saw the Jizzy in the background. But let's not forget the other thing that was off to the side, okay? And it's this right here. Ah! Ah! Okay? Now, here's the thing. Yeah, my thumbnails be fire, though. Okay? Yeah, Tipsy. Thank you. I know. They be fire. They be fire. Okay? I'm trying to keep it up. Trying to keep the game up. Okay? With the thumbnails. Trying to keep you guys entertained. Okay? Now, here's what's one thing that's very interesting about this situation. It's very tragic and creepy as hell. Now, no, this is not Raggedy Ann. Yes, we all know about the Raggedy Ann and Andy dolls. Yes, this is a Raggedy Ann doll, but this is also known as Annabelle. Now, there's been a slew of interviews and, there's been a slew of movies and all kinds of movies that have come out as of late about this doll. Okay, like what are those movies called? I'm trying to remember the names of the movies. Shoot. Hold on, guys. One second. Okay, I'm still here, guys. This thing's just tripping. I don't know why it's doing this to me right now, but hopefully it gets figured out. Okay, we're back to this again, but it is what it is. Okay. So, as I was just saying a second ago, okay? Annabelle is not to be played with. There have been movies about this particular doll, okay? And this is real. This is a haunted, demonic doll. This is not a joke. It is a demonic doll, okay, that has had all kinds of very, very bad things happen around it, okay, for lack of a better term. Now, what's very strange about this, okay, is that not only have there been movies about this doll, etc., there was a particular person. I don't know what's going on here. What is going on? Sorry, guys. 1 second. Yeah, it's literally the doll doing this right now. I'm talking about this doggone thing. It is literally the doll doing this. What is going on here, guys? What the hell is going on? Okay, guys, I'm gonna have to reboot here really quick, and I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay. See you guys in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Don't know what the heck's going on, but please just rock with me for a second. Sorry about that. Little bit of that delay. I just got to pull up all the stuff I had for the most part ready to go for this for this show. But oh my god, what in the hell is going on? Okay, it looks like Annabelle, AB has got a problem with what I'm talking about or something. It's crazy. Okay, but this ain't going to stop us. We're going to still do what it do. We're going to talk. We're going to get this conversation going. So, real quick. All right. Oh, shoot. There it is. Okay. So, as we were just a second ago, like I said, I'm going to try this again. Have mercy. We were just talking about Annabelle, okay? And the fact that we have this particular doll that is known to have a very demonic presence or energy around it. I mean, fires have happened, people have lost their lives around this particular doll, etc. Now, something just recently happened, which is very, very interesting to say the least. We have a paranormal investigator that was on tour with the actual doll, Annabelle, losing his life at the age of 54. Right now, they still don't know the cause of his demise. They still don't know why this man lost his life. Okay. They still don't know why what his cause of death is. Okay. They're still looking into this, but of course, this is all revolving around a doll by the name of Annabelle. Okay. Now, here's the thing. I believe in the paranormal. Okay. I do believe that there are other energies that float around this world. We call it some sort of things like spirits, ghosts, demons, whatever you want to call it. I do believe that those things are really out here. Okay. And of course, they've been called a various amount of different things, like I said, right? And I do believe that there are good and evil spirits on this planet. I really do believe that. Just like I believe that there are aliens floating around in some galaxy far, far away. Okay. I really do believe that, right? Star Wars. But still, the thing is, you can't deny that this particular doll has some serious evil energy around it. Shoot, man. Somebody just asked me, was the whole situation that just happened just a second ago, was that planned? No, it was not. It was not. I just put up the doggone doll's face. It's a picture of the doggone doll's face, and my computer decides to lose its doggone mind. What in the hell is going on, right? What in the hell is going on? So again, this is a very, very interesting situation where you have Annabelle, the doll that all these movies are based off of, being on tour, which makes no earthly sense to me, with a paranormal investigator, by the way, highly revered, highly respected paranormal investigator by the name of Dan Rivera, okay? And just out of nowhere, suddenly loses his life. Let's take a look at this article real quick. It just doesn't make any sense. And again, like I said, he went on this massive tour, okay, with this particular doll. And now he's no longer here on this planet. He has moved on. He has crossed over, guys. All right. So Dan Rivera, 54, dead of unknown causes on Sunday while handling the doll known as America's most haunted object. Here he is. May he rest in peace, by the way. Okay, this is terrifying and this is so sad. But if I'm correct, and maybe I'm wrong, he's the one who built the box, I think, that she's in, that Annabelle's actually in, if I'm correct too. But I could be wrong with that information, okay? He had stopped in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania during his Devils on the Run tour on Sunday evening, according to the Hanover Evening Sun. Emergency vehicles got a request for help for a man matching Rivera's description being given CPR. His death was confirmed by the New England Society for Psychic Research, which was hosting the tour. Rivera's official cause of demise hasn't been released yet. So the investigator has been remembered as a beloved friend who is passionate about educating others on paranormal activity. All three of his shows scheduled for Gettysburg stopped. For the actual Gettysburg stop, I'm sorry, were actually sold out. This was, like I said, we talk about Annabelle. Okay, we are talking about Annabelle. This is a serious thing, right? And this doll is notorious for being evil. Now, I don't know if you guys know like the Insidious, or that's what I was thinking of earlier. The Insidious movies, those kinds of movies, right? They had a whole series, and they did a spinoff with Annabelle, right? And it's been an ongoing thing for the longest time that this is a very dangerous and demonic doll. Okay, so we're heartbroken and still processing this loss, wrote the Society. Dan truly believed in sharing his experiences and educating people on the paranormal. His kindness and passion touched everyone who knew him. Rivera's family has also paid tribute. So they say, we as his family are in pieces as we share the news that Dan Rivera has passed away unexpectedly. He was the center of this family and the pillar of love and strength as a devoted husband, father of 4 sons, and a staunchly faithful friend. He always had a quiet source of resilience, strength, and endless hope. Daniel carried a light and a brave heart every day through his life and his work. We are currently at a loss for words as we process his loss, but are extremely thankful for the love, support, and respect during this unimaginable time. Now, of course, there are still, of course, there's some more information here really quick. Rivera, who is a U.S. Army veteran, was working as the lead investigator for the Society when he actually passed away. Now, of course, this is obviously a very, very sad situation. And I guess the main question remains, is this a coincidence? Is this a situation where he just happened to be on Devils on the Run tour and then he just passed away from natural causes? Or is there something demonic going on here with this doll? Here to talk this and have this conversation with me about this is a new friend of the show. I'm really looking forward to having him on in the near future. We have Frank Cambaletta on the show. Please welcome Frank to the show. He's also a paranormal investigator with the Haunted Souls Paranormal. So please welcome him. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. There's a lot of buzz if you're in the industry here, Haunted Souls. There's a lot of drama that's surrounding this case already. And it's really sad. I did not know Dan Rivera. I do know NESPR, which is the New England Society for Psychic Research. They are a very presentable, very professional team. They are a team that inspires smaller teams and teams in the Midwest. What they were doing with Devils on the Run was actually incredible for smaller teams and smaller paracons that couldn't get the big names to come to those events. And so Dan and a bunch of other people at NESPR decided to do this incredible tour where they went around the country at different paracons, really highlighting, the craziness of the Annabelle and the story behind it and the link to the movies and the Conjuring and all those types of things. And so this entire thing was not as much about money as it was promoting other smaller groups. Annabelle will be at October 4th in Quad City. There's a wonderful paracon going on over there. Their ghost host there is Get Haunted. Get Haunted is a very good friends of ours as well. Rob, who runs the team over there, is an incredible paranormal investigator. And he was just at Missouri State Penitentiary, even though he was in New York. He puts on these teams and he puts on these shows for people to be educated about the paranormal. Rob knows as much as anybody attending basically the old Roadhouse in Quad City Paracon. It's October 4th. I think that's the last stop for Annabelle. That team, those guys, that support group over there, they know as much as any paranormal investigator that you don't mess with this type of stuff. Now, Dan Rivera was a veteran of this country. He was a father of four. He was 54 years old, and he was very rooted in his belief and his strength. If you ask me as a friend, do I think that Annabelle took the life of Dan? I would say no. I think that this is a horrible coincidence, um, along with other coincidences that have happened since Annabelle has been traveling, right?
Yeah.
When they were in New Orleans, you had the Nato plantation that burned. You had the escaped prisoners in New Orleans. This is while Annabelle is actually in New Orleans. It's like, well, you even had a voodoo priestess come out, and voodoo priestess kind of are Catholic with voodoo, African inspired voodoo. They kind of come together in both cultures.
Right.
She threw holy water on the damn thing and told them to get out of the town. Nothing happened to her, right? She provoked, she did the thing. Nothing happens to her. The idea that these things happen with this doll, we can start with the history, the origin of it. What is the real Annabelle story that nobody talks about, right? Well, we can start in 1963. Well, that would be the Twilight Zone, the living doll. And a lot of skeptics have pointed to this, but nobody talks about that. But then, just 7 years later, in 1970, you're going to have a mother who's going to buy a Raggedy Ann doll for her daughter who was in nursing school in Hartford, Connecticut. She lived there, Angie, Donna, and then the fiance, Lou. They brought the doll into the house and everything was fine. It was this beautiful accoutrement to the living conditions. It brightened up the room, the mom said. And then some stuff was just off. Anytime, Pascal, for an example for Dan, we have dolls. We have haunted dolls. We all do. Annabelle is the one that TV knows. When you look at that origin story of Annabelle's smaller things, they would start noticing that the doll would move on its own. They would come in, they would say, "Oh, I thought she was on the couch."
Right.
She's in the bedroom. And then she went to a rocking chair. And then who's moving the doll? So they thought, of course, the guy gets blamed for everything, right? And he has to be wrong, right? So
Right.
Are you moving this thing around the house? And he's like, I ain't moving that thing. And I don't like that thing. I think that thing's malevolent. There's
Right.
something wrong with that doll. And he kept pointing to that this is something that we should look into. And of course, they're looking at him like he's crazy. I'm like, I'm just thinking that it's just moving and we're in nursing school, man. We got a lot going on, right? We have a lot of shake and bakes going on. And so from that point on, they started finding parchment paper with crayons on it saying, "Help me, help us." And they're like, who has parchment paper? Who has crayons in the apartment building? And they would be slipped underneath the door. And they would go out and Annabelle would be not in the same place. She'd be on the couch or she'd be here. Now, nobody ever physically saw the doll move. And that's the scariest part about it. This idea that you have a doll that can have an entity in it. So what's the first thing you're going to do? Well, you're going to talk to your friends about it. And one of your friends is going to be like, well, just call Frankie because he's into that stuff. Call Pascal because he's always doing them controversy stuff. Call that ghost hunter. And so we're brought into that loop, right? Well, in this case, in 1970 in Hartford, Connecticut, they're going to call a medium in. Well, the medium's going to do a seance and she's going to try to talk to this doll. Well, it turns out this doll and how she gets her name is the death of a 7-year-old girl who died in the apartment complex that they lived in. Her name was Annabelle Higgins. And so Annabelle was then adopted as Annabelle. And the medium then says, "Are you harmful? Are you malevolent?" And it says, "No, I'm just very lonely. And I'm sad. And I thought maybe I could get some attention by drawing or doing something." And so the medium said to the owners of the doll, "Would you like to keep it? We can take it with us." Being empathetic, they said, "No, now that we know what's up, it'll be fine." It wasn't. When the medium left, the malevolency rose to a level that we have not seen in the paranormal. The Annabelle story itself, if you would have taken Hollywood just take them out of the equation,
Right.
you would have raised and did this movie, it would have explained demonic possession. It would have explained the power of Christ. It would have explained those things. But Hollywood has a way of not wanting to talk about Christ. They have a way to kind of elude all that stuff away. Even in the Conjuring films, we talk about, oh, just think of happy thoughts. You ain't trying to get wings with Tinkerbell, dog. You're dealing with demons. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when this happens, the medium leaves, and then Lou, who is the fiance, is starting to spend the night. Well, he starts having these terrible visions, these night terrors at night where he's being attacked by this doll. Well, it just jumps on him and it starts ripping at him. One night, it wasn't a dream. The thing was on top of him, and it scratched 7 claw marks across his cheek, which we would call psychic marks. Now, if you guys in the chat are familiar with some of this, yes.
Wait. This in connection to this doll.
Yes.
What in the? Okay. Continue. Keep cooking. Okay. Go ahead.
So when you, I just read somebody in the comments.
You're good. Take your time.
I'm sorry, these guys. You have some funny people. Gummy Baggins is my love things to call Zach, but so he gets scratched across the chest, and what we would call psychic marks. What happens is they're red, they swell, and then they just disappear. There's no residence of them. At this point, they call in a priest, and they're saying, "Hey, we brought in a medium," and of course, the priest is already shaking his head, like, "Why would you do that? Necromancy is against the god." And then he says, I'm going to contact paranormal researchers that deal with this. And from this point, we enter Ed and Lorraine Warren, where at the time, Ed and Lorraine had not gone the way of the evil path. And a lot of people disagree with me. In fact, there's a lot of debate about Ed and Lorraine. What were their bottom line? What was the bottom line for Ed and Lorraine? Was it exposing people or was it exploiting people? And so that would be another conversation we can have another day. But in this case, Ed and Lorraine come in and they say, this is not a 7-year-old girl.
Yeah.
So in most cases, when you're dealing with demonic possession, they always appear as the morning star. That's right out of the Bible.
But here's the thing, though. And I really appreciate you breaking down like the origin story of Annabelle and the doll and the connection and all that. It sounds like, okay, aside from the 7 scratch marks thing, it sounds like it's a this sounds so crazy, but it sounds like it's a kind soul, right? Like like a spirit that isn't so evil and demonic, except for the 7 scratches. So where did it suddenly become an evil entity? When did it become that?
So in malevolency, when you're dealing with, so just to give people my background is demonology, not ology. I do not do exorcisms. I can't perform exorcisms. And I don't believe that anybody outside the Catholic Church can perform exorcisms. I just don't. Because it's still there. You need the people that created the ritual in the 16th century and the rite. When you are dealing with malevolency within a doll, most chances you start to spark the curiosity when the curiosity needs more. In the case of Annabelle Higgins, it could not sustain itself in that doll. It needed a soul. It needed a human soul. It needed to attach itself to something alive, much like a bacteria or a host. It needs to be hosted. It cannot live in those places for long times. Unless it's bound to it, it's not going to live there. So you can put Annabox in a plexiglass, like my partner Dan Klein always says, she's in a plexiglass box with wood. You mean to tell me the demon's just like, I can't find a way out of the wood? I'm pretty sure ancient evil can find a way out of the box. But when you're bound to something, what happened was Lou was the problem. So this is where it gets a little controversy. I did not know Dan Rivera. I did not know him. I didn't know his beliefs. All I know from online is that this guy was loved so much so that the actual show was talking about the Quad City Paracon. The woman that's running that, one of the people, he was doing all that stuff for her for free, just to help her. This guy had a huge heart. And I talked with them earlier this morning, and you could just see these amazing stories that were being written about Dan and Rivera. And I'm just like, man, it's weird that any Annabelle case, whether you believe in it or not, the ones that have died have always been male. Always.
Interesting.
So the motorcyclist is the number one case out of Hartford, Connecticut. He provoked the doll, and he was killed about 3 miles outside of the house on his motorcycle. That's the biggest one that I know of. But everybody else, males are mostly affected by Annabelle, not females. When Lou called that thing out, it hated him because he knew what it was. And so when the Warrens get there, they're like, we're going to take this back with us. We're going to perform an exorcism. Donna, Lou, Angie, they never had another problem with it once the doll was removed from the house. When the Warrens took it back to their house, the priest who, if you guys want to read more on this stuff, Malachi Martin, hostage to the devil. Okay, this is where Hollywood got it all wrong with The Conjuring. He was the one doing the exorcisms, not Ed. It was Malachi Martin. Malachi Martin talked a lot in his books about entities and haunted objects and why they're dangerous, that you should never keep these items. And this is further studied by the work of Father Gary Thomas, who they also did a movie on, who's a very dear friend of mine, who we have lunch once a year in Red City, in California.
Yeah. Okay. So really quick, because you said, these kind of things, these kind of items, these kind of objects should not be here, should not exist, right? So I guess the pending obvious burning question here is, then why is Annabelle still around, bro? Like, why haven't they thrown the doll into a fiery pit, made sure that thing was just completely scorched earth, gone, obliterated, okay, as some people like to say nowadays, completely annihilated, gone, obliterated, gone. Why is this doll still out here for everyone to see? Because honestly, who is wild enough? I mean, clearly there's plenty of people that are wild enough, crazy enough to want to see this doll in person. But if it's bringing so much turmoil and so much negative energy, for lack of a better term, why still have it around here?
I would point to, I mean, there's so many things I want to say right now, but I'm part of the Haunted Souls. Okay. We have events all through Missouri.
Right.
One of the things that we teach, and we have events all this year, and we are the most affordable at the most haunted places, because we want people, why we charge so low for our events is to educate people on exactly what you're talking about. We want people to understand what they're digging into. What you put into something, you get out. That's not just for the gym and CrossFit. That's for everything. When you put your energy into these dark things, you're going to get that out. Unfortunately, people fall victim to these types of things when their faith is weak. People hang on to these types of things, even though the Catholic Church has boldly said, remove and incinerate. Remove and incinerate. Anyone that I've ever known that had an interaction with a Ouija board.
Wait.
Yeah.
So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no problem.
So you're saying that the Catholic Church has even reached out and said, please, destroy this doll.
Yes.
And this doll is still out here. Why?
Toward the end of Ed and Lorraine, when Malachi Martin split off from the Warrens, he started to see the true evil. Exorcism is the right, and it is a transgressional field of study that only few get the calling for, because they're the priests that die in the field. 2 of 10 exorcists will die every year in the field. And this is due to the nature of demonic beings. We don't see this in America because most of it happens in the third world. If you start looking at third world countries, if you thought, like when I was down in Haiti on the deliverance team helping with the earthquake down there, I saw stuff that I couldn't even describe without sounding crazy. Kids levitating, kids disappearing in front of us, not knowing where it went, whole bodies. You are dealing with the darkest stuff in the world, but it creates something inside our psyche as well. And that is the morbidly curious.
So in other words, AKA monies. So you're saying that this is all financially motivated, and this is solely the only reason why, is so that you have this, for lack of a better term, no disrespect to anybody who's a fan of this kinds of stuff or that would go, but it's almost like a sideshow, like a freak show. Like, come on down and see the demented doll named notoriously known as Annabelle, right?
I would think that I would correct that a little bit. I don't Nesper is very respected. I think that it's for the curious, but I think that these are also teachable moments. And if we destroy every haunted object and destroy everything and all we have is pictures and slideshows, I think that when people physically see things, it can either do one of two things. It scares them straight enough to God, which is what I would hope the outcome would be as a religious person. And there we go. And see, the minute we talk about God.
Wow.
It's always
Wow. That's nuts, man. That's nuts. Did you?
now my camera went out.
What is going on here, y'all? What is going on?
That's it.
Oh my Lord. Isn't that crazy? We're just having a conversation about Annabelle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're done.
Just a regular conversation about Annabelle. And she making her presence known. She's like, stop talking about me. Stop it. You're making me blush. That's crazy. Let me know when your camera's back on. But oh my God. Oh my word. Okay. Guys, what are you thinking so far? Okay. Yeah, welcome to the Pascal Show.
Can you still hear me at least?
Oh, I can hear you 100%. Absolutely.
Right.
So,
I really don't.
so that's crazy that you're. Wow. See, look. This is real talk, guys. His camera has been shut off. For what reason, I don't know. Remember, I was having camera issues too. What's going on here? Very big, and I'm still having issues with my camera. Real talk.
I rebuke this live.
Oh my God.
I would.
What is going on? But here it is, though, guys. Okay, first off, welcome to the Pascal Show. All right, this is what we do. We talk about everything. See, look at that. Even my camera got shut off. Look at that. Look at that. I'm not kidding, guys. Camera shut off again.
Has this ever happened to you?
It has happened in the past, but I thought I remedied it, figured it out, fixed it, and apparently I have it's still messing with me, man.
This chat's
which is
going nuts.
crazy. Yeah, they are going crazy right now. Of course they are. Look at this is insane. This is absolutely insane. So now you back, but I'm not.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on, man?
Yeah,
But-
I don't know, dude.
But you were saying like they did not. No. Annabelle, AB, come on, chill, AB.
Yeah.
We talking. If you still alive, I'm not throwing you in no fire. You good?
Yeah, so I think what I was
Go
talking
ahead.
to was more the financial end of it. I don't ever want to paint anyone. We're a for-profit company to Haunted Souls. We love to do this stuff, and most of the physical personal researchers, people I've mentioned, Get Haunted, Haunted Souls, Haunted Soul Society. There's a bunch, Blondes and Booze. There's a bunch of different groups out there, and we're all doing it for the purpose of raising money for historical places and to preserve them. And a lot of the ghost hunting that we do does go, at least 50% of that money, those proceeds go to historic preservation, so we can actually get a little fun out of it. When you're talking about a road show that they literally named Devil on the Run tour,
Yeah.
and then it would proceed to do some a lot of crazy stuff happened since this thing's been unleashed. The thing with this was Annabelle, and I don't have this information, right? I have what Father Gary Thomas has told me when we've talked in length about this, is that haunted objects should be incinerated. They should be destroyed. They held evil, and it has residual contact, is what we would call. So sometimes, even though something is not possessed anymore, it has residual contact, which means that's a darkness, which could create elementals, it could create crawlers, it could create more negative energy to feed off things. In the case of Dan Rivera, I feel it's a weird coincidence. I mean, this was a veteran, this was a strong man.
But at the same time, though, what would make anybody want to go? And I'm glad, glad we're circling back towards Dan Rivera, and of course, may he rest in peace. Obviously, he was highly revered, highly respected in the paranormal world and the paranormal sphere. But what would make anyone want to go on tour with a doll like that? Please don't be mad, Annabelle. I'm sorry. Don't turn off my camera. But here it is. What would make anyone go, yeah, I'll go on tour with something that, anytime it's been around areas, it's caused fires, it's caused pain, it's caused sorrow. It is a looming dark energy. So what would make anyone want to tour around with something that is synonymous to darkness?
It's a good question, and I'll answer it to the best of my ability from where I sit in sociology from a human behavior standpoint. And then I'm gonna hook you up with Dr. Colton Scrivener, who's a very dear friend of mine who actually studied the art of fear. He's the foremost authority in fear, and he can answer that question on an educated level as a PhD from University of Chicago. He has a book coming out in October called Morbidly Curious. And he explains the fear factor. He explains the adrenaline, the rush. It's actually good for post-traumatic stress syndrome patients to actually experience fear. It's actually very, very important for your body. It actually releases endorphins. it actually is an element that basically people need. There is a curiosity that exudes from people that want to go down these dark paths. They want to see the murder weapon that John Wayne Gacy held. They want to see the car that Bundy had.
But
And
that's
it's morbidly curious, but at the same time,
crazy.
it is. And it's hard for people to get their head around, religious people to get their head around. But when you're doing this, I think that the hell, I mean, the Devil on the Run tour, I mean, can we say that they were trying to make money? Sure, you could say that. I mean, it was a cost to get into the Paracon, no problem. But it's also looking at the lore from the Hollywood films that have really promoted this. I mean, does Annabelle really have a standing grace if there's not a film? Do people really give a crap about her? No, they don't. So it gets back into Hollywood's deceitfulness of making this film about something that was kind of wishy-washy to begin with, where the Warrens held this sacred room that do not go in there. That is only for experienced people. Do not remove anything from here. And this was their last wishes. Their nephew is the one that kind of started all this stuff with the Annabelle Roadshow. And so, I mean, this is a weird type of antique roadshow, in my opinion. I mean, people are dying, houses are burning. I mean, maybe it's time to put her back. Maybe it's time to put the gremlin back. Maybe we don't feed it after midnight anymore. I mean, how many more horror movies do we need to kind of tell us, like, well, we're still going to not start the car when the guys coming at us are. We're still going to just, you see the car, we're going to go on foot in the forest. Like, if after these type of occurrences, what I would do, in my opinion, is I would cancel it. I would be like, we're going to shut this down because this has just gotten to a place where it's too dark. Like, people are dying now. And I'm not saying that had anything to do with it, but it is this is a person that handled the doll, that understood what he was getting himself into. And once I said, when you put yourself in those environments, it's important to kind of get yourself out of those, whether you use prayer, whether you're using certain spiritual remedies from different, cultures. I mean, I'm still very fervent on, say your prayers, be Catholic. Don't go looking for this stuff. There's a difference between ghost hunting and demon hunting. Demon hunting is the surest way to catch yourself on fire. I mean, it just is. And they don't come out like people think they do. That's not how ontology works. That's not the origin of ancient species. That's not how the Elohim work. They are a divine community. They're in Psalm 82. They are a very distinct, and they're not all evil. Some of them are neutral. Some of them just don't care. And then there are ones that are more malevolent. In the case of Annabelle, it is just a strange case. But once again, I would tell people to go back to the 1963 season of Twilight Zone and look at The Living Doll. And then 7 years later, miraculously, we have this stuff hitting the news about this doll that's causing stuff. Ed and Lorraine Warren are getting involved. This is the same time that Amityville is kicking up. And, we're seeing the DeFeo murders. And then Lutz buys the house, and then he's getting possessed by something in the house. And then he goes on tour, starts to make a bunch of money. So there's just this, it's always... when you talk to exorcists, and it's hard to find them because they're hidden by the church. I don't know,
because it's very easy to have conversations with exorcists. I had one a riveting conversation with one just yesterday.
Starbucks, yes.
But Starbucks, just chilling, having a mocha latte.
Just chilling.
You were saying,
but the thing that strikes me as odd too is that there's this fascination between the good and evil side of it. There's a fascination of, we have so many great ghost hunters that come to our public events that, they lost someone and they want to know if there's something on the other side. And so a lot of people go into ghost hunting, not for this malevolent stuff, but more benevolent. Like, why don't we hear the good stories of ghosts? One of the best stories that came out recently was a film called Presence by Neon. And Presence talked about a film from the ghost's eyes, where it was actually trying to help the people in the apartment. And there are many stories like that in the paranormal where ghosts actually have helped people, have, caught people that are falling down a staircase. We don't want to talk about those. We only want to talk about doom, gloom, and flames of hell. And so, like, for me, that is, if it bleeds, it leads. It's the same type of stuff. The fact that TMZ or anyone would compare or take this man who, like I said, I do not know, but I know the people that he was associated with. And it's somebody that I would say that I would respect. And in the paranormal, they've never done anything like this. I mean, like I said, this entire initial push was to help smaller paracons who didn't have the money to bring in these big guys and big speaking voices, and to kind of boost them a little bit up. And so, I won't be at that paracon. I have a conflicting date and we had to pull out, but I would not put myself around the doll. In light of everything, my intent for that doll is that I side with the Catholic Archbishop, that thing should not be in circulation. It should not be touching people. You shouldn't be around it. In the same instance, people that are morbidly curious are going to go see it. They're, I came back November 4th, me and my partner, Dan Klein, we went to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum. And this is where like the whole thing with Dan dying and stuff, he's got Peggy in there. And Peggy is such a more malevolent spirit doll than anything. And yeah, crazy stuff has happened at the museum, but this is life. And sometimes the electric goes out. Sometimes cameras go out. Sometimes things just happen. We don't really know how to explain them, so we call them paranormal. All paranormal means is just not normal behavior.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things that are paranormal. Like people that don't drink coffee, that's paranormal. Like that's just not normal. But when you think of other stuff that's in light of these morbidly curious objects, he has a whole museum chock full of this stuff, from the Devil's Rocking Chair to the staircase from Demon House, where that kid actually ended up committing suicide in Gary, Indiana, 3 years later after his exorcism. I mean, men, and I was talking about this on my own show. We just interviewed an incredible woman by the name of she goes by Cece. It's Cece Sauer, or Cindy, and she is a person that has undergone possession and exorcism. We had 2 shows with her where she talked about her experience and how it would happen, and she gets a little bit into that. And we started bringing up statistics when it comes to possession. In most cases of possession, when it's a male, the male doesn't live. Women mostly prevail. In the cases of men, even Ronald Edward Hunkler, are you in St. Louis?
Yeah,
Missouri. All right, so you know about the 1949 exorcist case here that started.
Absolutely.
The Edward Blatty, Saluda University.
Yeah,
I mean, that kid towards the end of his exorcism, if it wasn't for Father O'Halloran catching him, he was jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, he was
in Missouri.
Yeah,
and so where we can kind of metabolize some of this stuff from trying to stay rooted and grounded, this stuff is very, very, very real. And people going to look for this are going to find that it might not be what they want. And at the Souls, when we have our ghost hunts, we tell people these are the things that are not allowed: rituals, Ouija boards, candles, sacrifices, seances. None of this. This is all an invitation. That's necromancy. What we're trying to find out is what is here. Is this place is haunted? Can we help the disembodied, which is basically a human spirit, move on? Can they transition, or do they want to stay here? Are they harmful? So it's that type of outlook that I think most of those groups that are doing this understand and knowing that. I don't think their intent was ever for any of this to go down. So it's hard for me to it's hard to talk to the point, because man, I've seen so many posts about this guy that has reached so many people, like smaller people, smaller groups, that I just don't think that. And more information will come out. You never know.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be genetic heart failure.
Yeah, it could be that too. I mean, obviously they don't know his cause of death yet. They haven't done an autopsy. Obviously that will come out in the following days, following weeks, and all that for sure. But I have 2 quick questions, because of course, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to let you go here. One is a super chat from Valley Girl. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Says, who's the legal owner of Annabelle? Do we know who?
Yes. And her dog looks a lot like my dog, which is crazy.
That's what's up.
Mine's named Luca Brazzi. He's Italian. But yes, the actual legal owner is the Warren estate. And so it's basically the nephew owns the practices and stuff. There's another person I won't mention here that I cannot stand, and he's involved in this. And I don't want to bash anybody on your show, and that's just not pro. But there's another person that's involved there that's like, oof, like I don't know why that guy's involved, but the actual nephew is the owner of all those of the collection. And he sold stuff to Zach. Zach has stuff from that collection at the museum. So.
Okay, cool. And of course, somebody else said, Urban, thank you so much for the love. Says, do more paranormal shows like this. This is interesting, shizzle dizzle. Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely fascinating. Of course, Frank, I would love to have you back on
anytime.
In the near future, because
John Zaffis, actually, thank you so much. That's a note. John Zaffis is the nephew. Yes. John Zaffis owns the collection. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay. But again, would love to have you back on in the near future, because there's so many things I want to talk to you about on so many other deeper levels, especially with other things that we have been covering on the show that are, some people think some ritualistic things that were going on, etc. So, as far as like the deep underbelly of Hollywood, the Illuminati, etc. So I'd love to have a conversation with you about that for sure. One other question I am curious about. He was on tour with this particular doll, right? Was the doll, and that's one thing I was wondering, was the doll in the room when he passed away? That's one thing I'm kind of curious about. When you go on tour, is it just locked away in some U-Haul truck? Or is it like, are you bringing it into your hotel room and, you're living with it, in your presence 24/7? That's the one last question I got for you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that I don't have the answer for that. I would think that this would definitely be kept in a hotel room. Dan has been listed as the handler of the doll, and so I would think that would have stayed with him. It also could have stayed with the production crew. It was a large crew that was coming out doing this stuff, and like I said, I mean, their intent was awesome. I mean, they were really trying to boost a lot of good teams out there that we really admire and respect. And I think that, like, when you look at anything, if you go to our show, right, we have a YouTube channel, it's Haunted Souls Paranormal. If you watch our shows, we talk a lot about this stuff. We get into the weeds a little bit on some stuff like controversies as well. But I think that, any time that you are dealing with these, like, mine are encased. I don't know if these guys are haunted, but they're really creepy. And that's my kind of like morbid curiosity. Like, I don't want to own something like Annabelle. I just thought these guys were pretty cool. And they're in my podcast studio where there's a bunch of stuff on the wall for Halloween and stuff. And so, for me, it's like, we try to keep it fun. Even in our logo, if you could see, he's holding a chicken.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what's up.
He's holding a rubber chicken. We try to make it fun. So
yeah. Okay. Well, can you let everybody know, because some people are asking, what's your show? Where can they find you, etc.? Can you let everybody know where they can find you, your podcast, etc.?
Absolutely. Events, hauntedSouls.com. Our podcast is actually, there's a link on our podcast right on the website, hauntedSouls.com. That's souls with a Z. And then right on here on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, just pop on over to Haunted Souls Paranormal. You'll see this guy right here. Just hit subscribe. We go live every Tuesday night. And next Tuesday night, we are doing the finale of Cindy Sauer with the Father Simpson, the priest that actually exorcised her. It's going to be a huge show. This is the third in the series.
That's going to be fascinating.
It's going to be fascinating. It's a big crowd that usually comes to those. And we do other stuff too. I think that,
I mean, is it pre-recorded or was it already shot? Or
it's live. It is live. Yeah, we do live.
Wow.
Right on StreamYard. We do it live so people can interact. They can ask her questions. She's super cool. Her and David have been awesome. And she has residual contact right now. So there is stuff that's pulling at her.
Yeah.
But because once you're kind of
hopefully it's not demonic.
Well, it definitely was.
Okay. I'm just saying, God forbid she says something's pulling at her. And you're like, what is it? Is it again? Is it happening again? So just saying that loud. Okay.
Anytime you need me, brother.
Yeah. No, we're gonna be talking here very, very soon because, man, we might be doing something as soon as
get our cameras working.
Yeah, that's why that's when I bring in my cameramen and we do it, and they handle that stuff in a whole other space, in a whole other room, and all that stuff. But again, Frank, I appreciate you coming in here, chopping it up with us, and just giving us your 2 cents about everything. Thank you so much for tuning in and just giving us your thoughts on the whole thing. And may this guy rest in peace. But again, thank you so much for coming on, and I look forward to having you on very, very soon.
Thank you so much, and thanks for your fans. I appreciate all your kind words. Thank you.
All right, brother. Peace. Bye. So a big shout out to Frank for being here. I really appreciated him coming on to talk about everything because, again, like I said, that was just a very fascinating. What happened to this Dan Rivera situation is just a very interesting and fascinating situation. And I could see how a lot of people are starting to trying to connect the dots as much as they can, basically saying, oh, I can see I see the connection. There must be something evil going on here. And it could very well be that, or it could just be circumstantial. He could have just had a stroke, could have had just a regular situation that naturally happened to him, all the while handling a demonic entity, object like that doll. Again, I look forward to having him on again soon because there's a lot of questions I have for him. Okay. And, like I said, we talk about a lot of different things here. Okay. We talk about a lot of different things on this platform. I just don't get a chance to get those kinds of people, experts on the show to talk about these things. Everything from the paranormal to the extraterrestrial, etc. There's so many people in this realm that are really, really insightful, that just know their stuff. And so I'm really looking forward to bringing those kind of elements into the show for you guys, for sure. But that situation with the doll, very strange indeed. Let me get some of these super chats here really quick. Annabelle from The Conjuring, that's what I meant. Paranormal activity. I don't know why I thought I was thinking paranormal activity. I don't know why I had paranormal activity. It's not even the right, isn't it? Or insidious. What I was thinking was insidious, right? So my bad for the mess up. And that was while my computer was totally screwing up and camera was shutting off every 5 seconds. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being patient with me, okay? Thank you so much. Rosa, twice. You did this twice, so thank you so much for the super chat again. It's Annabelle Pascal. You picked the wrong topic. I mean, we're going to talk about everything, man. We're going to push through, okay? The internet or the technology will prevail. That's what I truly believe. Phantomus, sorry. Going to Pascal's house to exercise the thumbnail. Okay. Okay. Again, Phantomus, thank you so much. If I was Dan, I'd come back as a raccoon and then shred AB. Eesh. You got some jokes here. Again, thank you so much. Cause of Demise, playing with Demon Spawn. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Doll gets separate room with Wi-Fi, HBO Cinemax. I'm done. Oh, I'm done. Okay. Let's see. Tess, thank you so much. So of course we're going to be getting into that. So I'm going to hold on to that for a second. All right. Because we do have some miles to go before we sleep here. And I'll get to Tess's super chat here in just a minute. Now you realize that I had to shut everything down. I had to pull things back. I'm going to have to pull things back up live. I'm sorry. I had a whole bunch of windows, whole bunch of things set up, ready to go. And then all of it had to get shut off. And I got to pull those things back up here in just a little bit. But nonetheless, okay, I appreciate you guys tuning in and checking out that part of the show. I know that's not what y'all came here for. What you came here for was for the main event, the main conversation, the conversation that everyone's having and that we are still continuing to have. And it all has to do with Epstein. Yes, it has been all kinds of bad for J. Eppy. Okay, or not for Eppy, really, because him dead. Okay, he gone. But it's been really bad for Trumpy. Now, the thing is, because we didn't get a chance to really talk about any of this stuff before, so we're going to talk about it now. There were some things that happened over the last 24 hours that I absolutely was shook about. One thing is for sure that I thought was very strange is that, let's be real, Republicans, the House, okay, decided to block the Democratic effort, okay, to force out the release of Epstein's files. Now, I know if you guys have been living under a rock, which I'm sure you have, and I feel like even people who are living under a rock know what's been going on with the Epstein files and this Epstein list. As you guys already know, just a quick recap, after several months, if not years, okay, arguably years of this hype about this list revolving around Jeffrey Epstein and all the nasty, disgusting things that he's done, and the list of people that have done disgusting and horrific things to littles, okay? They suddenly said out of nowhere that this list does not exist, all right? They said this list doesn't exist at all whatsoever. Even after you have the head of the DOJ, you have the head of FBI, you have the head of every department you can think of, basically saying, get ready. It's about to blow your wig back. It's going to be insane. Get ready for the insanity that is the Epstein file or the Epstein list, right? Suddenly, they say it doesn't exist. Now, this blew up the whole world. Everyone got mad. Everyone was angry about this situation, which I totally understand. I don't blame people being pissed off. I don't. And it's on both sides of the fence. Yes, there are going to be hardcore Trump supporters. There's going to be hardcore Trump supporters without a shadow of a doubt. That is inevitable. We should not expect there to be that there aren't going to be hardcore Trump supporters out there that are going to basically say whatever he says is the truth, and I'm just going to believe the president, and we're going to keep it moving. Unfortunately, we don't live in that kind of world. We live in a world where we have had politicians and presidents lie to our faces time and time again. And I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about past presidents that we've had in the past, right? No more new taxes, right? I am not a crook. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And so on, right? We've heard it a million times. We've heard these politicians, AKA the presidents, the leaders of our free world, say some really crazy things just so that they look good. Now, we can't sit here and say that lying can't happen with Trump. Think about that for a second. Yeah, I pulled some old ones. I'm not a crook, right? And I did not have sexual relations with that woman. No more new taxes, etc., right? And guess what? New taxes. Oh, guess what? He was bumping uglies with a girl in the Oval Office, right? Oh, yeah, he was most definitely a crook, even though he said he wasn't a crook, right? We've seen this happen billions and billions and billions and billions of times. And I get it. There's always going to be somebody out there going, even there were supporters for Nixon out there who were, even after he said, I'm going to have to resign because I was caught red-handed, right? Yes, I guess I am a crook. There were still people out there saying, oh, Nixon could do no wrong. He's a good man. He's a good president, right? Same thing with Bill Clinton. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, right? Guess what? He was all up in that, okay? Even his cigars were all up in that hoo-ha. Okay, we've been known that. And he left some of his DNA all over a blue dress. Okay, devil in a blue dress, blue dress, blue dress, devil with the blue dress on, right? We already heard about all that stuff. And yet there will still be supporters out there going, but he's still a good president, though. He's a good president. He's American. It's American pie, right? We've heard that a million times before, right? So the same thing, we're going to have supporters and people sitting there going like, he did not throw me off. He did not deter me. He did not lie to us. He's telling the truth that there is no list. So why is everybody tripping about this? There's going to be supporters. Of course, there's going to be supporters. And I'm not surprised about those supporters because some people don't like to admit. I feel like some people, not admit, but I think some people just can't handle the truth. Like Jack Nicholson, okay? You can't handle the truth, right? I feel like some people just can't handle the idea that there could possibly be a lie going on, a cover-up going on, and that we're seeing in real time a president of our own lying to everyone. And I think some people just are like, I just need to deny, because never underestimate the power of denial. It is a powerful, powerful drug. Okay? If you on it, you'll believe things that aren't even real. Like the fact that this list doesn't exist. But then later on, we understand that Trump went out, put out a post, which clearly looked to me like Trump was spiraling out of control. That's what it felt like. You know, he's like, what's up with my boys and my gals? Why is everybody tripping? Basically, is what he's saying. God, Epstein, why are we still talking about this guy? Please get off of it. Stop talking about Epstein, which of course I'm paraphrasing here because I don't have the tweet that he put up or the post that he put up on True Social. But you get the gist. Everyone's still griping me about this list. Well, guess what? The files do exist, but they were completely messed with by the Democrats. All those damn liberal presidents that you elected into office, they were the ones messing with the stuff, not me. I'm innocent. Even though he was saying for the longest time that this list did exist and that he was going to drain the swamp, right? He said, I'm about to expose it all. Everybody about to see everything. And all the bad evildoers are about to get caught and thrown under the bus, exposed for the venomous, nasty snakes that they are, right? So then you hear all that stuff in this tweet or this post on Truth Social. And what happens? First, he admits that the files and a list does actually exist, guys. He does actually say that it's there and it exists. But he's saying that now it was covered up by the Democrats. Okay, fine. But now you president. We ain't talking about presidents of the past. And, by the way, shame on them. Shame on you if you knew about these lists. Shame on all y'all. Yes, I said it. Shame on all. You too, the little one in the back. Okay? Shame on all y'all. Okay? But here's the thing. You've been president for how long? Not very long. Okay? But this is your second term. You were talking about this in your first term. This is your time. Baby, this is your time. This is your time. So spill it, right? But something interesting happened today. Or not today, over the past 24 hours, 48 hours, okay? The House now blocks the Democratic effort to put out these files. This happened a couple days ago. Now, again, we're playing a little bit of catch up. But I do want to share this with y'all because I do think this is absolutely insane, okay? And we're seeing inside the room, House Republicans blocked the release of the Epstein files. Why? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Why would they not say, yep, go ahead, rip the Band-Aid off, let it all hang out? Okay, I know Diddy would really like me saying that, but you know what I mean. Why not just expose it all? Say it, get it out there, be done. And if Trump's name is in it, so be it. Or if it's not, it doesn't matter. If it's some sheik or some prince, who cares? Get it out here. We talk about I'm going to say this till I die. We talking about the victims, y'all. We are 110% talking about the victims. Every single last one of them. They deserve justice. They deserve exposure, not them, but their assailants, their attackers. Those particular people, they deserve to be exposed and be brought to justice as soon and as quickly as possible. But like I said, I've said this a million times before. At the end of the day, you can't be mad at people like myself or any other person out here that is saying or speaking out against this situation, because we believe that this is about bringing justice for these particular victims. This is not trying to bash Trump. There's plenty of things to bash Trump about. I'm not bashing him. I'm talking about common sense, y'all. Another phrase he likes to use, common sense. If your kid was moved across state lines, sent to an island with Epstein and some nasty mother lovers, wouldn't you want those monsters exposed? Think about that. If you are a parent, or if you aren't a parent, you have loved ones, you have nieces and nephews. Shoot, you have sisters and brothers. It doesn't matter. You love human beings in general. This would piss you the F off, right? Let's take a listen to this. This is insane. Let me do that again.
Those opposed say no. No. Amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it. The amendment so
insane.
agreed.
Chair, I'm kind of shocked by that.
Yeah.
I will ask for a roll call.
The clerk will call the roll.
He said, I'm shocked. Wait. How many people are saying nay? The dude is going like, can I do a roll call? Can we go through this like in you know what I mean? Let me do the numbers, because this is insane. This should be a unanimous response. But something's up. Something weird is going on here, guys. And no, this is not a conspiracy. They've made it. This is the bed that they made, guys. You see what I'm saying? This is the bed that they made. And yet still, they're going out of their way to sit here and say, oh, yeah, I don't understand why all this is happening. You're like, why are you guys tripping about this? Why are you guys so obsessed? Why are you so obsessed with him? You know what I mean? And it's like, wait a second. You made this. You put this out here. You said for months you were going to say something. What are you talking about? And now you got the House Republicans blocking this. Why? Why?
Mrs. Fishbach? No. Mrs. Fishbach, no. Mr. Norman? Yes. Mr. Norman, aye. Mr. Roy? Mrs. Houchin? Mrs. Houchin, no. Mr. Langworthy? Mr. Langworthy, no. Mr. Scott? Mr. Scott, no. Mr. Griffith? Mr. Griffith, no. Mr. Jack?
No.
Mr. Jack, no. Mr. McGovern?
Aye.
Mr. McGovern, aye. Ms. Scanlon? Ms. Scanlon, aye. Mr. Neguse? Yes. Mr. Neguse, aye. Ms. Ledger-Fernandez? Ms. Ledger-Fernandez, aye. Madam Chair?
No.
Madam Chair, no.
Man, that's crazy. That is just
Clerk will
crazy.
report the total.
5 yeas, 7 nays.
The noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to. And I think most of us believe what's appropriate will be released when it is time for the president to release it.
Well,
So, in other words, it'll never happen, y'all. That's what it means. It means that will never happen. Do you understand that? Do you understand that the goal that they're trying to have happen ain't gonna mother loving happen? You see that, right? Oh, and he decides to and he's sitting here. And of course, this happened. Like I said, we're doing some catch up here. There's gonna be some more information here in just a second. But like I said, it just doesn't make any sense. He's going out of his way they're going out of their way to block this issue. You just need to hear what some of the people in the House were saying. In the room, we're actually saying, this is crazy.
Trials concern issues of abuse of women and abuse of children. You know, as the chair of the Democratic Women's Caucus, you often see me raising issues of we need to address this. And not only that, but Republicans and the MAGA world have said they want to know about this. Your constituents want to know. So the question is, why are they not just releasing them? And I think it's a simple thing to do. And you're going to be asked to vote whether you require the release. That's going to be a simple vote. Will you require the release? Is there anything that needs to be hidden? If there isn't, then just release the files.
Exactly. If you ain't got nothing to hide, why are they hiding it? What are they worried about? Why are the House Republicans, going out of their way to basically say, block it? No. Don't let this stuff out. Now we good. That doesn't make any sense. Like what we're hearing here. Republicans in the House Rules Committee just blocked an amendment that, if passed, would force Congress to vote on whether the Trump administration should release the Epstein files. What are they hiding? That's what I'd like to know too. Make that make sense. Because again, if they have nothing to hide, then they should just put the mother-loving stuff out and be done with it. Call it a mother-loving day. I think there's a little bit more.
Silence those who would question it. So every Republican on this committee should be able to easily vote yes. That is the vote you will be making as to whether it should go forward to the floor for that vote. So you, with your vote, will be preventing even the consideration of the release of the Epstein files. You will be voting against the release of the Epstein files. You have the power. Let's see how you vote.
Hearing none, the question's on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it. The amendment's not
Madam
agreed
Chair, I'm
to.
kind of shocked by that.
Yeah. Again, why would somebody just out of their way suddenly say all of that, basically saying, hey, if there's nothing to hide, then just put the stuff out there. Just be done with it. Release the hounds, right? Release the Kraken, as they would say, right? And they still said, nope, we're not letting this stuff out. We're not letting this stuff out at all. That does not make any earthly, that doesn't make any earthly sense to me at all. Okay? It really, really does not. And again, this is the sad stuff that we have to deal with, because again, yes, we are hearing from Trump saying certain things, and he's sitting there going, oh yeah, well, actually, let me just pull this stuff up so you guys can see this for yourselves, because like I said, it don't stop. It do not stop.
Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review, the findings of that review. The Attorney General briefed you on that.
what? On the
DOJ and FBI
on what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein. On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by the Biden. We went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it. But she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
Whatever she believes is credible, she should release. Remember what he just said there. Whatever she believes to be credible, that should be the thing that is released. Okay. You realize what he said there. In other words, and of course, he's been saying this, he's been basically screaming or singing the same tune over and over and over again. Okay. He said exactly what he said in that truth post on camera now. Because remember, with all due respect, okay, I don't care what side of the fence you stand on. I know that there's going to be people out there getting, upset, being like, how dare you, he's our president, blah, blah, blah. I am going to criticize whoever the hell I want to criticize. If you're doing something that's blocking information from the general public that has been fiending and waiting for this, especially when you've been hyping it up for so long, it doesn't make any sense for you to suddenly try to do the Kansas City shuffle, which is basically what he's doing right now, where he makes you look left while he goes right. He's going out with his rhetoric. He's good with this rhetoric. I'm being real. Sorry, but that's the truth. He'll come out with a certain slogan or a certain saying, right? With the common sense kind of slogan or the obliterated type of sayings. Fake news. We still say fake news to this day. There are certain things that he's very good at. I'm going to give it to him. He's very good at that kind of stuff. Using something, using a phrase, using a code word, whatever it is, to spin things so people go down another route. Remember, there are people out here that'll sit there and go, please, Trumpy, lie to me. Keep lying to me, because they can't handle the idea of getting actual truth. That maybe he dropped the ball. Maybe he made a mistake, y'all. Like, we can realize that he's human. Some people believe he is a god, which is insane. He is a normal human being. He is a man who makes mistakes every single day. Okay? Doing too much tan, that's a mistake. Okay? But that's a choice that he makes every single day to put on the fake tan. That's his choice. That is a mistake, baby. Sorry. Okay? He is not perfect. He's not a soothsayer. He can't see the future, nor can he float in the middle of the air. He's a regular human being, and I believe there's a possibility that maybe he made a mistake by riding on that idea, because he knew that was going to make people go crazy, that was going to get people off. Yeah, let's give him that epi list. Let's drain the swamp. Let's bring the truth to the people, because the Democrats have been hiding the truth from all the people. You hardworking Americans, let's expose it all. And what does he do? As soon as that opportunity is there, he says, nope, it doesn't exist. And you know what? It's all their fault. Yeah, no, it's all their fault. In fact, Pam Bondi may have misspoke. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Let me let y'all know. Yeah, the list does exist. They be files. Okay, they be files, but they've been redacted and messed with by the demis. Them damn Demi Moores. Blame all them demis, not us. But what's crazy is that he's had years to say something. Do you understand that? Years to correct this. But he keeps on screwing the pooch. Screwing the pooch over and over and over again. This time, his rhetoric and his talent for spin is not working right now. It's constantly coming back to bite him in the ass. So much that now he's like, oh, any credible information, come on out. Bring it out. Bring it all out. As long as it's credible. You understand what that means? So that means Pam Bondi could possibly go there and just cherry pick the information so that it looks good for the Trump administration, which, by the way, they don't look good right now. And I'm telling you right now, it's done. He has obliterated this situation so badly. See what I did there? He's obliterated the situation so badly that even if he puts out all the files, the general public's still going to side eye going, You say this is the whole files? I see something weird right here. There's a weird glitch right here. There's a little typo there. I don't know. Is this real? Trumpy, is this real? I'll see about that. That's the problem that we live in right now. Because no matter what, if he says these are all the files, this is all the files, everybody. Truthfully, all the files, unredacted, has not been messed with. Go on, enjoy yourself. Thousands and thousands of pages. Go ahead. Do you, boo-boo? Read them all, right? You're still going to have people that are going to go through all that stuff and go, wait a second, I don't know if I believe this to be it. I don't think I believe this to be all of it. And that is a huge problem for Trump. Okay? That is a massively huge problem for Trump. This is going to be a big problem for him, and this is going to be looming over his head until he satisfies the people by giving them what they truly want. He should have done it in the very beginning. He should not have allowed Pam Bondi to go out here saying that the list does not exist. They should have put out all the information and just said, here it is. Yes, there is no list, but here's all the information. I feel like still, no matter what, they would have been screwed. Okay, in that situation as well. But at least, okay, here's the information. You got minutes missing from his cell video. Minutes. And they're like, well, we'll see what had happened was, okay, these security cameras are from like the 1990s, okay, you feel me? And they only record for like 12 hours at a time. And then conveniently at this specific time, it shuts off for about a minute or two, okay? And then it turns back on and then it reconvenes. Do you know how long it takes for somebody to get unalived? I mean, some places it takes, in some circumstances it takes a long time, but a lot of other times you can take somebody out like that within seconds. Doesn't take very long. Like I said, it's dumb, y'all. It's dumb. We got more. So here, Donald Trump says that we are bad people for demanding the Epstein files and lists to be released. And again, yeah, so I guess I'm a bad person. I guess I'm an evildoer because I want justice. And I don't want to be consuming or, praising, endorsing, listening, or following any type of monster. You got to remember, this J.E. Epi, okay? Yeah, we all bad people. This is we all bad people, Tyler. Okay, you too, man. There's going to be a Bad People's Anonymous group now. Okay, we're all going to go into a room. It's going to have the very, very cold type of, look. Okay. Very minimal lighting. Okay. It's going to look like crap. And we're going to sit in there and we're going to say, hey, okay, so my name, okay, is Pascal. Okay. And I'm a bad person because I want to see the Epstein files. And everyone's going to be like, hi, Pascal. We're going to have those things now. We're going to have a little group sessions together because of this BS. All right. Because apparently, because we want to err on the side of justice, because we want to err on the side of what is right, we a whole bunch of baddies. Sad. Let's take a look at this. And again, you got to remember, it's almost like, and I've said this before, real quick before we look at this video, it's almost like, yeah, we all bad, like we baddies, baddies West. You know what I'm saying? Pulling everybody's hair out their heads. Okay, pulling it by the tracks. All right, throwing cocktails on each other and twerking, and then getting into fist fights. We all baddies now. Okay? Ridiculous. Now, what's really crazy about this is that to me, he's almost like, think about this. He's almost like the most popular guy in school. And the fad at the time was the Epstein list. So he's out there, he's walking down the hallways. Everyone's like, what's up, Donald? Hey, DJ, sup, man? He's like, what's up? Sup? We gonna get that list, though. High five, low five. What up, man? He's still banging the prom queen, okay, the head cheerleader. He is the dopest man on earth. And what is hot right then and there, and what's the popular thing, is talking about the Epi list. Then suddenly out of nowhere, the Epi list doesn't exist. So now he goes around and he's like, man, that was so yesterday, y'all. Why are we even talking about this stuff? Okay. Yeah, that was popular back then, but that was then. This is now. We moved on. What's popular now is realizing that it was all one big ass hoax and we need to move on. Okay. We done. The end thing is not this anymore. We have moved the F on. Let's go, guys. Keep up. Okay. The fad is dead. We have moved on now. So follow me. Don't keep going back. Don't look back there. Don't look back in Epstein. Look forward towards the BS, right? And now it's, oh, you are not cool if you're still asking questions about this damn Epi list. Come on now. We've been done that, baby. I really, you understand what's going on? But this bull is really, you still talking about, man, you don't see what's going, man, we've been moved on. Even his hype man is like, yeah, man, we moved on. We've been moved on, baby. We have been moved on. Why are you still talking about Epi? Yeah, man, why you still talking about Epi? You know what I'm saying? Only losers talk about Epi. You must be a bad person. You must be one of them people on the list because you only give a damn about the list. Shut up, man. Shut up. Let me finish what I'm saying. What I said is we moved on, okay? We on to a new fad. We talking about obliteration, okay? We obliterated things, okay? And we still gonna drill, baby, drill, okay? That's what we focus on. We focus on that all, okay? All. That's what we need to listen to and talk about. So we're going to talk about that. Stop with this BS, yo. Come on, man. Damn. Move on.
Semiconductors and chips.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life.
Why does it feel like he went out, he murked him, and he's still haunting he's still haunting Trump in his dreams? I'm just saying, it's like, he will not die. You know what I mean? He's like, it's been dead for a long time. Why are we still talking about it? I still don't understand. Why are we still talking about this dude? He been dead, okay? He been dead, okay? He is literally worm food now. You feel me? All right? He's decomposing. Him gone, okay? Him dead. Y'all still talking about this. The hell you talking about? Why won't you just die? That's what it feels like. That's what's going on in his head. He's like, oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so done with talking about this BS. Oh, can we move on from this conversation, please? And thank you. We've moved on, okay? Did you not get the memo?
I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things.
Hold on. I need to roll that back one more again.
Understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
First off, you wonder what the fascination is because you and your people talked about it for years. This would not be a thing if you didn't bring it up. It would not be a thing if you didn't bring it up. Let me repeat that one more time for the nosebleed seats. It would not be a thing if you didn't bring it up. Yeah.
I really don't. And the credible information's been given.
What credible information has been given? Hold on. Time out. What credible information has been given? Nothing's been given so far. They gave out a little bit, like a tiny little morsel. Like I said before, petit morceau of information, a moosh boosh, if you will, okay, of information with these files for Epi. Okay, they haven't even scratched the surface of this ish, baby. They were saying there's so much information. Oh my gosh, and we can't wait to expose it all. That stuff was supposed to be been exposed, and it did not get exposed. So what are you talking about? We haven't seen anything yet. We're just taking your word for it and Pam Bondi and everybody else's word for it, the Trump administration's word for it. That's all we're getting. We have not received not one iota of information since they talked about the list not existing.
Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake.
He said, yeah, I cheated, but back in the day, I didn't cheat. Remember that time when you thought I was talking to Susan? All right, with the big cans? I wasn't talking to her. You thought I was talking to her, but I wasn't talking to her. You feel me? Okay, yeah, I got caught. Okay? Yeah, I smashed. I'm sorry. But back in the day, I didn't. You were all up on my ass about that stuff. Remember how crazy you were? Going through my phone, okay? Going through my sock drawer, going through my computer, going through my iPhone and my iPad. You don't remember all that stuff? Yeah, it was crazy back then. Remember that stuff? Yeah. And I was innocent back then. Yeah, I might be guilty right now. But you try to expose my ass back then to you crazy son of a shut your mouth.
But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring.
It's sordid, but it's boring. How is this sordid and boring when you've been talking about this for several years? How can you sit there and go, oh, it's so not cool to be asking about this? It's so boring, guys. It's absolutely boring. We should be talking about what's going on in Iran, in Israel. Why are we talking about this stuff? Suddenly there's an interest in the Epstein list. Surprise. Make that make sense, guys. Okay?
And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
You realize that he's saying, good golly, Miss Molly. Oh, this burns my cookies, baby. Okay, let me just say this, okay, really, really quick. First off, I don't know who the guy is next to him that's chuckling. Literally, his whole shoulders is like he's, I don't know what he's doing, okay? But he's straight up like, oh, okay, so it's the fake news. It's the messed up media. Okay, and bad people that give a damn about this stuff. This is not a laughing matter, first of all. Okay, this is not a situation to be chuckling about this or trying to be funny or anything like that. All he's doing, exactly, Debbie, I was just about to say this, is deflecting this. He's just deflecting everything. This looks really bad, guys. This is very bad. Why does everybody look? Oh, good golly! Like, you got to understand, you can't ignore this. You know what I mean? Like I said before, it's like that. It's that big ass zit on the tip of your nose, and it's massive. You could see it from space. Okay, it has its own atmosphere. It has its own freaking solar system. It's that gigantic on your nose. You can't ignore what's on that face. You can't ignore or look around it or anything. You're just looking straight at that zit on your nose, right? It's undeniable. And the fact is, he's like, no, look, don't look at that. Look over here. Look at my eyes. Avert your eyes from the zit. No, we can't. We have to talk about this. And now he's sitting here going, well, you ain't cool if you're still talking about this. We've so moved on from this. Here's the other part. He keeps saying it. Remember, he has this pattern of doing this. I'm sorry, but I keeps it real, and I call it like I see it, dagnabbit. But he has a pattern. He has a way of saying certain things because he's really good at that slogan stuff. He's really good at branding things. He's really good at the spin. I'm sorry, but he is. What does he do? As long as it's credible, release the information. As long as the very important word here is credible. Because now he's saying release the files. Now he's saying release those things. Because apparently files that they said did not exist do actually exist, according to Trump. But now he's saying it has to be credible. That word credible can mean a whole lot of things, just so you know. He's live right now. Let me see what's up. I'm going to play this, though. Play this. Roll that back a little bit. I just don't think it's funny to be sitting here talking about potential PDF files out here that are hiding in plain sight, selling us things, okay? Telling how the world should be ran, because we're talking about these 1%, 1%ers, 1% of the 1%ers that are out here telling how the world should be ran. Those are still the same people that are apparently diddling, okay? Doing disgusting and deplorable things. And now he's sitting here saying, oh, it's all got to be credible. It's all got to be credible. Like, come on, y'all. Come on. Come on now.
Stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
If it's credible, let them have it. Interesting. Like I said, he's still screwed. Because even if that stuff comes out and they come out with like thousands of pages of stuff, they've had plenty of time now to fabricate things. You got to understand. Plenty of time to fabricate things. Okay? It's bad. This is bad. And I mean, he's slamming his own supporters, guys. All right? He is. He's basically saying we are, if you're he's doing a bill signing ceremony. We don't need to see that. But if he was like addressing something about Epstein and all that stuff, we would be talking about it for sure. But yeah, so he's out here doing stuff as far as the signing of the bill. But again, like I said, there should be transparency throughout this whole thing, without question. But that's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. And that's what's really, really sad about this situation. Okay? That's what's truly, truly sad about this situation. Now, one thing is also very interesting. Ghislaine Maxwell's family breaks their silence in regards to, they were trying to figure out whether or not Ghislaine was going to speak, right? So we got to take a look at this too. So again, her family breaks their silence with bombshell claim as Trump's decision to close Epstein case triggers MAGA's civil war and cover-up claims. I mean, you can't miss this situation. You cannot deny that there is something weird and sinister going on. This looks very weird, okay? And I would say the same doggone thing if this was any other president. I promise you that. We'd be talking about that too. If this was Biden, I'd be like, yo, Biden out of pocket for this one. This is some jacked up stuff. So on and so forth. All right. But Ghislaine's family have broken their silence to insist she is innocent and was subjected to government misconduct in an unscrupulous effort to blame someone for J.E.'s crimes after he perished. So President Trump and his Attorney General Pam Bondi are facing MAGA mutiny amid claims they botched an investigation into Epstein's laundry list of crimes. Epstein's right-hand woman is serving 20 years, which we already know, for STing offenses tied to the billionaire financier's crimes. Let's remember, he is a quote-unquote financier. He made a lot of money being a financier. Did he not graduate college, if I'm correct? He's a college dropout, if I'm right. Like, you know, it's just, you wonder where he got the money in the first place, right? But that's another conversation too. But Bondi maintains that after years of rampant speculation, there is no evidence Epstein ever held a client list implicating high-profile associates. I call BS on that. And that's why the whole world has imploded. That's why the whole MAGA world has imploded. In fact, that's why the whole that's why the whole country has imploded. Let's be real. The whole world has imploded because of this BS. All right. Her family now maintain our sister Ghislaine did not receive a fair trial, claiming prosecutors stopped at nothing to convict her due to the public's appetite for her to face justice on Epstein's behalf after his demise. According to the family statement, Maxwell is prepared to file a writ of habeas corpus, which would allow her to challenge her imprisonment. This challenge would be, quote unquote, on the basis of new evidence, such as government misconduct, that would have likely changed the trial's outcome. The family argue that Maxwell Ghislaine should have been protected under an agreement Epstein entered with the DOJ in 2007, in which they vowed not to prosecute any of his co-conspirators after he paid fines, paid victims millions of dollars, and served 13 months in prison. And of course, you know, there's footage allegedly of her like doing her laps in behind bars. Okay. There she is behind bars. Okay. But again, I guess the one question is she a victim or was she a co-conspirator? And I think that's going to be the ongoing question, the ongoing argument for a very, very long time. For sure. There's going to be a lot of people asking questions about that. Now, one thing is for sure, there's a couple of things I do want to share with y'all. I know that there's a lot of, excuse me. There are a lot of podcasters that are now starting to backtrack. Some of these podcasters had Trump on their shows. You know, the likes of like Theo Vaughn, Andrew Scholes. They went on, you know, what's his name? What's the guy? Aiden Ross. Okay. Now I'm not saying Aiden Ross went and said, oh yeah, you know, I denounced Trump. Nah, he didn't do anything like that. But Flagrant, the podcast that is hosted by Andrew Scholes, went out and basically said like, yo, I'm backtracking big time from this situation. I'm not cool with this. And I don't blame people. See, like I said, if you give a damn about justice for these victims, and we're talking about littles too. And I'm not sitting here saying that doesn't change the weight of the situation, but I'm just saying you got information out here that somebody has. And I guarantee you the Trump administration has their hands on it. That could expose so many different people. All these people that are doing bad things, that have done bad things, that got away with maybe as serious as them. Let's be real. Are still going to be able to live their lives breathing in this freedom air. Doesn't that piss you off? I don't know about you, but that really angers me. Those kinds of things need to be put out here. That type of justice is supposed to be exacted. So I don't blame these specific content creators, these podcasters that were literally hoisting Trump on their platforms. I don't blame them for sitting here and taking a step backwards and saying, no, I'm not cool with this. I'm not cool with this. Let's take a look at this. And this is like just the very beginning of this podcast. But he's saying right here.
What's up, everybody? Apparently, we ruined America. You know, we were trying to hold the person in power, President Trump, accountable for not fulfilling some of his promises, and that was foolish, man.
Nah, you're an idiot.
That
Dude.
was
You're
a
bad
foolish
person.
thing to do. Once you vote for somebody, no matter what they do, even if it's the exact opposite of what they say they're going to do, you just ride that until the wheels fall off.
Yes.
Now, one thing is very interesting about this. I agree with what he's saying. I think it's kind of ridiculous that, especially in the era of Trump, okay, that you are not allowed to criticize Trump. Anybody else, any of these other presidents that we've had, it's just a very interesting fad. He can do no wrong. Trump can do no wrong. And it is wrong for you to ask questions or criticize anything that he's done that you may not agree with. In fact, I've seen it even here. Okay. Perfect example is just seeing how people react by unsubscribing, right? As soon as I say something that has any semblance of putting some sort of criticism on Trump, people go, oh, F him, and they unsubscribe. They run away because they can't handle the idea of somebody just thinking for themselves. If you have a president that's doing something that you don't agree with, you should be able to have the right to say something. That's our rights as Americans. I'm sorry. You can miss me with the nonsense of, oh, everything he does is godly. It's not. There were a lot of things I didn't agree with Obama. There was a lot of things I didn't agree with George W. There was a lot of things I didn't agree with Biden. Oh my God. Woo! Biden, holy cow. Okay. But all of us should have the right to put in our 2 cents and say what we want. But as soon as you say anything that's anything negative towards Trump, it's like, he's American treasure. It's like, oh my God, chill the F out. Holy cow. So you're just a robot. And anything he says is the truth, and that's it. Well, that's what he said, so we're going to move on. That's what he said, so that's the truth. Are you sure about that now? Are you really sure about that now? With everything that's going on right now, are you sure everything he's saying is the truth? If you really look back and just look at the stuff, I'm just talking about the Epi stuff. Forget Iran, forget anything else. Miss me with all the other nonsense. Ignore the other stuff. Just look at the stuff that we're dealing with right now as we speak. Okay? With the Epi. There's nothing wrong with people looking back at this and going, wait a second, that's wrong. I don't agree with this. Because we're talking about the kids, y'all. We're talking about littles that were moved around, taken advantage of. And those people are still out there living their lives. I'm not talking about the victims. They are, hopefully. Not all of them are, okay? But, majority of them are still living their lives out there. I'm talking about the ones that were the attackers, the monsters, those people that were laughing and enjoying themselves, drowning themselves in liquor and having a great time on this island doing God knows what at the hands of this snake, okay? This piece of trash, this nothing, right? J.E. And those people that were doing things with the help of him are still out here telling us what we can eat, what we can wear, how our economy goes, etc. That's insane. That's scary. What we can watch on TV, what movie is greenlit, what TV show is picked up or shut down. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, guys. Crazy. But they ain't wrong with that. We need to be thinking for ourselves, y'all. We need to be thinking for ourselves.
Double
Right?
down.
Exactly.
Always double down.
Like if you vote for a guy that you know is dead, you pretend he's not dead for 4 years.
Exactly.
That's what makes you virtuous.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's what makes you care about your country.
Pick a side,
You pick a side and you die for that side.
Mhm.
You know.
But that's the fad. We pick a side and we have to stay. We have to stay on that side no matter what. You vote for Trump and suddenly it's do or die. You just have to stay. You just have to stay with Trump. And that's wrong. Just because like I wear Nike does not mean that I like every pair of Nike shoes that I see. Doesn't mean that I'm a Nike till I die. Shoot, I got Reeboks, I got Adidas. Shoot, I haven't worn a New Balance in a long time, but I had some New Balance back in the day. Some of them be fire. Okay? But that doesn't mean that you have to be one thing and that's it. Ridiculous.
So that's, that was a big fuck up of ours.
That was a big fuck up, man.
We just kind of wanted to know about Epstein, victimizing 1,000 girls and who else he did it with. We just kind of wanted to know. And Trump was like, you're not going to know. And we were like, I don't like that.
Yeah, but
That's
being
our fault.
Yeah, that's being a bad American.
But we were being bad
A good
Americans
American
right
says,
there.
yes, T Daddy, thank you so much.
Damn.
Can I have some more?
Yes,
That's what you're supposed to say.
Daddy.
That's what a good American says.
Because a bad American would be like, yo, you said you were going to end these foreign wars and we're still just blowing up places we don't want to blow up anymore.
Yeah.
No.
But what would a good American do?
You just say, oh, thank you so much. Can I have another one?
Oh.
Yeah. That's what you said. Couldn't let it go. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So a bad American would be like, wait. You said you were going to lower the deficit, but right now we're just.
Yes, bro. That's what you voted for. That's what you voted for. If you vote for that, then you got to stick with that the whole way through, no matter what. Yes, exactly.
And I think that's sad. Okay. I think that's sad. And of course, some people are looking at this particular opening to this podcast and basically saying like, oh, these guys are backtracking because, they brought Trump on. They don't agree with the choices that he made, especially with the Epstein situation and all that. And now they're like, oh, you're just backtracking because you don't want to get in trouble with your listener base and all that. Well, I think that I'm going to say this. I will say this. If I had an opportunity to have Trump on the show, I would. I know some of you guys would be shocked by that. But I would. Same thing is like I would give, during the elections, I would have given Kamala Harris an opportunity. And I would have talked to her too. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So asking questions, it's one huge situation. Obviously, the elections is a big deal, etc. Right? It's a big deal. Doesn't mean that you support one or support the other. You just want to ask questions and find out what they're going to do for the American people. I think that's a fair thing to do. But not many podcasts brought Kamala Harris on. She only did Shannon Sharp's show, and they said it was low ball, like low ball questions. It was just kind of like a, paint by numbers type of interview. Would have been nice to see her on other interviews, right? But that was the problem that I had with Kamala Harris. She did not take herself away from being attached to Biden and let herself be her own person, right? Her own candidate. It almost seemed like she was just picking up where they left off and was going with that narrative. And it's like, well, you can't play the same role because you ain't Biden, though. You Kamala Harris. Change the scene a little bit. But unfortunately, she didn't do that, right? And of course, unfortunately for her, it didn't go as planned, right? But I digress. There is something more here. It's something else I've been having. I don't know if I could watch the whole thing right now, but I do want to play a little bit of this. Now, there was a woman, okay? Her pseudonym is Katie Johnson. Now, the thing is that she
Donald Trump.
She has a very eye-opening, crazy jaw-dropping testimony. that she did back in 2016. I definitely want to share this with y'all because it is absolutely insane. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play the whole thing right now. Well, maybe I can. We're gonna try. We're gonna try. I'm gonna try to speed up this, but nonetheless, she goes by Katie Johnson. This is her pseudonym. Okay, this is basically like a Jane Doe type of name. She claims that she was attacked not only just by JE, but also by Trump. She was supposed to make a press conference or do a press conference, but then she backed out of the situation because she was receiving threats and she was very scared about coming out and talking about this stuff. This is a very interesting situation. Of course, I want to share this with y'all so we can take a look at this. Now, Tess, here really quick before we go into this. Tess, thank you so much for the super chat. Epstein question. Why is no one talking about, well, there it is. The Katie Johnson affidavit video, which we're about to look at here right now. She's the 13-year-old Trump accuser, and then it's the craziest thing ever. So we're going to be listening to that right about now. Okay, Nikki, thank you so much for being a member for a year. I appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Natasha B, thank you so much for being a member for over 19 months. Where's the whistleblower? Where is the whistleblower? Damn, do us all a favor. I'd like to know that too. Where is this particular whistleblower, right? Where the heck is it? Who's that person that's going to come out? Like, where is Epstein's Diddy video? You see what I'm saying? Where is Eppy's CNN hotel video? We need that. You see what I'm saying? There's got to be some sort of video somewhere that doesn't have anything to do actually with Littles. I'm talking about, like, you know, him making a deal or something of that sort. You know what I mean? We need something that's going to be more, you know, that's going to expose more. Jasmine, thank you so much for the love and for being a member for the past 9 months. I appreciate it. Hey, family, watching from my other account, heart emoji. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you tuning in, even on the other account. Okay, Fanto, thank you so much. We tried the easy way and go get Pam and Don ASAP. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy. Tess, thank you again. Will you play I'm playing it. Yep, I am. It's the craziest thing ever. Okay, thank you so much. No one shows it. Yeah, there has been a few. I think there's been a few people that have talked about this and has shown it. Like I said, I'm only going to show a little bit of this. I'm not going to show the whole thing for right now. Star Fury, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I just got this alert. Official says that metadata from the raw Epstein prison video shows approximately 2 minutes and 53 seconds were removed from one of the two stitched together clips. Let's just play the dun dun dun. Yep. Like I said, minutes. Like I said earlier, minutes, guys. Minutes were missing from that Epstein prison video. And if it's 3 minutes, or, you know, I'm rounding up, you know what I mean? If it's 3 minutes, then a lot can be done in 3 minutes, ladies and germs. A lot can be erased and a lot of things can be destroyed human-wise in that amount of time. That's plenty of time. Look at Koberger. Let me repeat. Look at Coco. All right? He did to 4 people. And if he had the average of about 3 minutes towards each person, because remember, he was in and out of that mug in minutes, y'all. And if he can do that in that short amount of time, come on now. You got one person in a cell by himself. There's a lot you can do to somebody to make them disappear in less than 3 minutes. Okay? You got ample time. Ample time to do bad things. Here's the other thing that really drives me crazy about the footage, the cell footage. There's no footage inside the cell. Like, there's no camera pointing inside the cell showing him inside the cell either. And here's the other thing too. If he was unalive somewhere else and then they dragged him in there, I mean, if you get some help, you can do that in 3 minutes. You can make somebody look like it was a deletion situation in 3 minutes if you get the help. Shoot, you could do that by yourself if you were strong enough. Just saying. There's a lot you can do when you have an agenda. When you have a goal in mind, there's a lot you can do. So let's take a look at this. Like I said, we're only going to listen to, a portion of this. I may do just like a live where we watch the whole thing in its entirety together. But this is a very interesting testimony. Yeah, that's it. Let's take a look.
I came to this interview on my free will. No, there was nothing promised to me for doing this interview.
Excellent.
Yes, everything that I say at this interview will be the truth. I met Donald Trump at some parties I attend that I was working for Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. There was about 3 or 4 times that I had encounters with Donald Trump. I was 13. The first time that I met Donald Trump was at a party at Jeffrey Epstein's mansion. There was an orgy going on, and he was kind of watching off in the distance. And he basically asked if I could come over and give him a hand job. And at first I wasn't very comfortable with it. This was like my first party. And I didn't think that was my responsibility. But my recruiter told me that I needed to do it. So I agreed to. And then he, I began to, sorry, this is a little difficult, but before I gave him a hand job, he kind of slapped my hand away and said, you need to use a glove. And the recruiter ran over and handed me a glove and said, no one touches Mr. Trump's penis without a glove. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. We ain't even we haven't even scratched the surface yet, guys. Like I said, this is the reason why I'm like, I might be watching this with you guys like in its entirety by itself for like a whole live show. But this is insane. You must wear a glove. If you're going to touch his weed whacker, you must wear a glove. Oh, pish posh. Don't touch his weed whacker. You must be wearing a glove. Now I wonder, like, what kind of I know something's wrong with me, guys. Okay, but instantly I'm like, what is it? Latex? Is it a garden glove? Does he like it rough? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of glove are you talking about? You feel me? Because that, and then why? Why would he need a glove? See, this is when I want to go, Melania. Eesh. You know? If you walk in the room and it's not baby oil and Astroglide, it's just a box full of, on the side of the, on the nightstand, it's just a full deluxe box full of surgical gloves. That makes me question things. You know what I'm saying?
To use a glove, I gave him a hand job, and then immediately after, he had an orgasm, he left, and I didn't see him again at that party. Jeffrey Epstein is a billionaire friend of Donald Trump's that was responsible for throwing the sex parties. I originally came to New York trying to be a model, and in my travels, I met a girl named Tiffany there who was very interested in me and said that, that's what she did, is that she helped girls, get what they wanted, and she could help me get into modeling. That she knew a lot of people that were higher ups, and that it would be no problem. And so that's why, but I would just basically have to come model at a couple of events and meet some people. There would be no sweat. So of course I went. That sounded like no big deal. And she was recruiting the girls to come to these parties And they all looked, I mean, most of them were, my age. There was, maybe a couple girls that were maybe 14 or 15, but it seemed to me like we were all very young. So, Jeffrey Epstein knew that I was 13 years old when he.
1-3. Okay. She just became a teenager, y'all, when she was made to do this stuff. Now, again, this is all alleged. She says that what she's saying is the truth. This is testimony. It's crazy, y'all. This is very disturbing.
Interviewed me. He asked me to get down to my bra, and just my panties, and I thought that was weird. But I mean, modeling, maybe it was something about my figure. And he asked that I give him a massage. So and then he asked me my age. He asked me, and I told him, that I was 13. I told him why I was there. And he basically said, well, you'll do, I'm sure that you'll fit pretty nicely here. And then he tried to basically slip himself inside of me. And
Ay caramba. I
pushed him away, and I said, I'm, because at that point in time, I still believed that there was models, and then there was the girls that did that. Like, I thought there was a separation. So, I told him that I wasn't interested in that, but he said that I would do. And as far as Donald Trump, he knew that I was 13, and I believe that Tiffany told him. He seemed to take a liking to me because I was, I was so young, and I was also a virgin. So I don't know. It seemed like he wasn't really into having girls that were liked by the other guys. He kind of, the whole glove, he kind of liked things to be his first, if that, for lack of, a better term, but he was the one who wanted to get to a girl before everyone else did. Donald Trump knew that I was 13 because the first night that I was there, Tiffany actually suggested that, she had a whole bunch of different wigs, and I expressed interest in them. I always told her that I would love to walk around with blue hair. And so I tried some on, and there was a blonde wig that she said that looked great on me. So I wore that wig. And Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter. And she said,
oh, good God. Tess just said this, and that's a very good question. Thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate it. There is a legal affidavit. Why wasn't she sued for perjury if it wasn't true? Why didn't Trump sue her as well if it wasn't true? That's a very good question as well. I don't know. I really don't. This is why this one is very shocking and very disturbing. I may have to speed it up a little bit, but let's continue those. Let's rock and roll.
Well, she's 13 as well. So he knew the first time that he saw me.
I'm going to try.
But he took a liking to me because I look like his daughter. And the reason I'm coming out now is when it happened originally, I just wanted to forget about the whole incident. And when I saw that he was running for president, I felt that it was my responsibility to come out and tell our country what kind of man this person is. I don't think that he should even be the dog catcher, let alone running the greatest country in the world. After I met Tiffany at the bus station, she took me to, basically went to her house, her apartment, and got ready. I put on a blonde wig because it seemed fun to pretend to be someone different. But we went to the party that I was basically interviewing for. And Jeffrey Epstein was the one that was running the party. He had a quick meeting with everyone that was employed there. And then he had a private interview with me. The first time that I met Jeffrey Epstein, he did try to force himself inside of me without getting the go-ahead or anything. And then it was probably about the 3rd or 4th party is when he basically forced, it was another massage, and it was basically like, it wasn't sex, but there was penetration. And I told him that I didn't want that, but he kind of got a little irritated. So I don't know, there was something about him that I guess I kind of held him, I held a lot of resentment towards him. By that time that happened, I kind of already started catching on that maybe I wasn't there for modeling, and maybe I was just getting used for things, and I felt that kind of held him responsible. I did receive money to go to these parties. After every party, I was paid by Mr. Epstein. There wasn't, out of all the girls that were there with me, most of them were 13, 14. I think the oldest one might have been 16, just turned 16. And she'd been there for a while. It was Tiffany. He liked to watch other people have sex. He's a germ, doesn't like germs. So he, rather than partaking, he just watches. So, and Tiffany had informed him that I was the virgin. And so I was basically, so it was Tiffany who introduced us. Okay. Second time that I saw Mr. Trump was same scenario. He was onlooking at an orgy, and Tiffany came over to me and said that Donald Trump had requested that I perform oral sex on him, and I'd never done something like that with anybody, so I was a little nervous. So I walked up to him, and he was sitting there very proud, and I just kind of moved in that direction, and he kind of slapped me away and said, "What are you doing? You need to put a condom on." Like I was some dirty filth or something without a condom. Tiffany ran over and handed him a condom and apologized, profusely, and said that would never happen again. And she looked at me and scolded me basically like a child and said that that's not how Donald Trump always anytime you touch his penis, it needs to have a condom on or a glove. You owe, and especially when it comes to performing oral sex. So I apologized, and then I performed oral sex on him. And once he was done, he hopped up, and that's the last I saw of him at that party. It's like once he's done, he's out. So okay. Sometimes before some of the things that I noticed that were weird with him was sometimes before the parties he would come over and Jeffrey Epstein and himself would kind of banter back and forth, and he was Donald Trump was very racist. He said a lot of racist things. Like there was a lot of comments towards Mr. Epstein about being Jewish, and called him a Jew bastard, so that he was cheap. And there were some words I didn't even understand. Something about his the shape of his penis being directly related to his mole, or I'm not too familiar with the Jewish tradition, but I'm pretty sure that whatever he was saying wasn't very nice. Also referred to people of Hispanic or Hispanic name, they called them spics.
And by the way, this is in 2016. By the way, just so you know, this is in 2016. Okay, I may play a few more minutes of this. Yeah, at the end of the day, this is someone who's saying that she was, made to do certain things. It's bad.
That was around the first time that the World Trade Center had gotten the bomb.
Oh, also, yes, Jeffrey Epstein is Jewish. And so maybe Trump was making jokes, you know what I mean? Like kind of, making jabs at Jeffrey Epstein, saying, making anti-Semitic remarks like that in jest as a joke. You see what I'm saying? But it's still, no matter what, if he's also talking about Hispanics, et cetera, and using, a lot of derogatory terms, et cetera, it's not good. But let's not forget, he's also making someone who allegedly is not of age, okay? Yeah. He's making her allegedly do things. Okay. So yeah, this is this is a tough one, y'all.
In the 90s. And he was, talking about the towel heads and how, we'd just be better off if we, didn't let him in, or, basically got rid of every single one that was already here. And I thought it made me really uncomfortable, really, really uncomfortable.
Yikes.
He also loved to call black people niggers, and Arabic people he called sand niggers. The only time that he tried to give me some money was our last encounter together, where he acted out a rape fantasy. I was forced to give that money back because Jeffrey Epstein paid us after the party. So, but he just gave me the money. I don't even know why he gave it to me. Maybe to make me feel more cheap, but it was a rape fantasy to him, but I wasn't playing. So there was those two times, and then there was after the next thing that Tiffany approached me with was that he had a fantasy where he walked in on his maids basically making out, and that it was some type of fantasy for him. So she asked, I was at that point, I was like, I don't want to be involved with anything that has to do with him. But she's like, you were just basically the other one. So there's nothing that you have to do. Just don't, he's requesting you to be involved. So I reluctantly, I felt like I didn't have a choice there, but it was basically, he's walking in, his two maids. I was one of the maids. I was the white maid. And there was a Spanish girl, Maria, who was a Hispanic maid. And we were making out, and he walks in and he gets really angry and threatens to call immigration on Maria if she doesn't come over and make things right and give him a blowjob.
Oh, how fitting. I'm going to call ICE on you, right?
So while she is over there giving him a blowjob, I am just trying to, I'm supposed to look scared, like, oh no, and cleaning up things and pretending like I'm trying to go back to my job as a maid. And then he's being so rude to Maria. I felt so bad for her. Even though I guess it just didn't seem like a fantasy. It didn't seem like it's the weirdest fantasy as far as that. He was threatening to call immigration on her, so that she didn't know how to, she wasn't even near going down to give him, perform oral sex on him before he slapped her away and said, what are you doing? You need to put a condom on. And she's trying to, I'm so sorry. And he's like, you can't even understand what you're saying. Just speak English. He called her derogatory comments. And then he's like, you know what? You don't know what you're doing. Have her come over and show you how it's done. And so I said that I didn't, I had to go over there or else he was going to call immigration on Maria. I didn't know if it was true or not, but I felt that, he said that if I didn't show her how to perform oral sex on him, then he was going to call immigration on her and then get rid of us both.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there for that. Okay, it's bad. It's really, really bad. And it's definitely tough to listen to all this, right? That's a note. Thank you so much for love. I appreciate it. And I know this is hard, Pascal, but thank you for standing for victims. Of course, all day. Tess, thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing it. Thank you so much. No one's covering this. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stop right there because honestly, I do want to get the video itself and maybe edit some things out before I play more because it is, tough. And again, this is like Cassie telling her situation, except we're not seeing the testimony, right? We didn't see her deposition or anything of that sort recorded or etc. But still, it's like, this is bad, And the Nicole B, you just said why they kept going back. Honestly, you never know. You got somebody who's a little who doesn't know any better. You got to remember, this is somebody who is actually being, I'm sure, groomed, etc. Okay, there's just, like I said, there's a lot in this video that we can't just instantly go, if I'm reading that comment correctly, we can't instantly go, oh well, why did they go back? Why do they keep going back? I feel like, why would anybody go back to their abuser? It's the same question that you would ask any other person that's been taken advantage of or hurt in some crazy, unthinkable way. It's the same question that I would ask every single last one of these, every victim. But you can't really explain, or you can't really sit there and go, okay, that's the only reason why she went back. She may not know any better. She was a kid. Those kind of things are, questionable, and then, also, yeah, money is a good motivator as well, right? Money is a good motivator, or money can be a motivator. Not saying it's a good motivator, but it is a motivator, right? To get people to keep coming back, to keep doing what they're doing. But again, we just have to take her word for it. That's the thing, though. She could be lying through her teeth like crazy right now, just saying whatever she can because it sounds good. She could be lying, or she could very well be telling the truth. But nonetheless, this is, it's what she says in there is just wild. Holly, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome. I appreciate it. I don't know if you're like re-upping, but I appreciate you. Infamous Truth Teller, thank you so much for the love. She had very vivid descriptions. In my opinion, it's the truth. I think she's telling the truth. I think she's telling the truth too. Ash, thank you so much. And yes, of course, you're welcome. Thank you for saying thank you. But I think, what I'm going to do for show is I'm going to go through this thing and I'm gonna like edit some things because it's pretty intense. And then we will listen to it in its entirety, uninterrupted, from cover to cover. Okay, on another show. I mean, the show kind of got slowed down because of my camera was acting a fool, doing all different kinds of things, and that was very frustrating. So I just want to say that. Here's the other thing too: playing it unedited could get me in trouble. I'm just saying that out loud. Okay, so I have to go in there and edit. Okay, I have to. There's words. I'm not going to edit it. It's not like I'm shortening it. I'm bleeping out words because there's a lot of words in here that I need to bleep. Okay, a lot of words. Okay, and yeah, even so, even if this was put on my other channel, Pascal Raw, okay, it would still be edited, y'all. I'm just letting you know. There's just certain things that she says in here that are very graphic. Okay. It's just words. It's just trigger words type things that the algorithm doesn't like. So I just have to do that for, even if I did it on the other channel too. Okay. Just so you know. All right. She did it. Yeah, she did say it twice. She said the N word with the hard R twice. Okay. Which is insane. But like I said, we're going to be watching it on this channel. It's just that it's going to be a little bit of editing, right? Like I said, it's going to be a little bit of censoring. That's all. It's just intense. Okay. Yeah. I don't want to lose this channel or anything of that sort because of playing something that is super graphic. Okay. So we going to do it. Okay. Yeah, not even raw, not even on raw. Yeah, not even on raw, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We like I said, there's certain things I can say, but then there's certain things I can't say on raw. You see what I'm saying? So even if it is raw, it's not 110% raw. You feel me? So again, don't worry. We're going to look at the rest of this for sure. Okay. But like I said, this is crazy what she's saying in here. Yeah, and there's plenty of other accusers that have been out here, like this one. This is from the Today Show 6 years ago. Okay, let's take a look at this. Hold on.
Oh my gosh, I was 14 years old. Like, what the hell do you know?
Hold on.
When you're that young.
Jennifer Arose grew up in New York with dreams of becoming a Broadway actress. She was thrilled when she was accepted to a performing arts high school in the city. And it was outside that school back in 2001, she says, a woman first approached her.
She was definitely trying to get to know me, trying to find out, where I was from, where I grew up, who I lived with.
Again, another woman coming out saying, hey, I was young, I was recruited. And then she was allegedly part of these things. She is saying that she was.
Rose says the woman kept showing up, talking to her, sometimes offering to buy her lunch or a soda.
The first time she brought up the name Jeffrey Epstein, how did she describe him to you?
He was just a great guy. He's just saying, he's helped me. I've struggled. Like, she was similar to me.
Did she say he could help you with your career?
That was a big part of it.
And when you think of her now, you used the phrase, you said the recruiter. You felt like she was
for
looking
sure.
for someone for
100%, yeah.
Rose says the recruiter brought her to Epstein's townhouse, just blocks from the school.
When you first met him, what did you think? What did he say?
Very nice. Basically saying that, he's heard a lot about me. The recruiter was talking such nice things.
Rose says she was served wine in Epstein's kitchen, and they talked. When she left, she says she was given $300 and was repeatedly invited back.
The secretary would contact me
and say,
are you free? Can you come by? Epstein would like to see you.
She became familiar with the eccentricities inside Epstein's home.
There was a lot of artwork that had insinuated nudity with women. And I remember very suggestive. He had a bathtub that was kind of opened, and there was prosthetic breasts that he could play with while he was taking a bath.
What?
Yes, it was very odd. And the painting that was literally the massage table would be here, and this painting would be right here. And it was a very pretty naked woman, and he used to always say that I look like her.
She says after
that y'all, come on now. Yeah, I mean, they got pimped for show. Hell yeah. They definitely got, led astray, bamboozled. Okay. Real talk.
A few weeks of visits, she was escorted alone to what she says Epstein called his favorite room in the house, the massage room, and things turned physical.
In that moment, it didn't.
At that moment,
feel
yes.
strange to you.
But at the same time, I was scared too because I didn't know if he would get angry, or so I kind of just followed. I would have just my underwear on because that's how he liked it. So, and I would just get massages back, and then he would potentially later on turn over and play with himself, and he would also like when I would play with his nipples. He used to get turned on by that.
Nut juice on chesticles. Dear Lord, he liked. I need to take a bath at like I need a long, intense shower after listening to all this stuff. I'm sorry. I it's so dirty. Good God.
And then he would finish himself off, and then that would be the end of it. And he would still give me the 300, and normally I would either get it from the secretary, would leave it in a drawer in the massage room.
How often do you think you were there?
Yeah, like once a week, twice a week, my freshman year.
Did you ever tell him your age?
I told the recruiter, I've mentioned it in front of him, yes.
You're 14 years old.
Yeah, he knew very well my age. You know exactly, who he was hanging out with, I don't think he cared.
When Rose turned 15, she says things took a turn.
Just take your underwear off and get on top. And I said I didn't want to. And he, very forcefully kind of brought me to the table, and I just did what he told me to do. I was really scared. I didn't necessarily think that he was, going to rape me.
Did he hold you there?
Yeah.
No question in your mind, he knew you did not want that to happen.
Oh, yeah. No, he definitely, yeah. There was no way. I was like, I don't want to say I was screaming or anything of that nature, but I was terrified, and I was telling him to stop. Please stop,
And did he?
No, he did not stop. He had no intention of stopping, and that's what he wanted. That's what he got.
When you left there, you never went back?
After that day, no, I never went back. I was terrified. I was really scared because I didn't want that to happen again.
And you left school. Did you leave the school because it was in the same neighborhood?
Yeah, it was so close.
In your mind, did you use the word rape? Did you recognize it then as rape?
No, I don't think I did. I just thought, it's my fault. I was obligated. That's just what you're supposed to do. So I really did not know better.
When did you?
Listen, guys, I mean, and you hear this story, you think she's lying? You think this woman's full of crap? You got to remember, they said, we heard from Pam Bondi's own mouth. She said that she saw countless videos of CP that he had in his possession. That, of course, she said, we're not going to show those things. We're not going to expose those things because they're disgusting and they're not needed to be seen by people. So for people who are out here going like, oh, yeah, this is all cap or whatever, when we hear that story from that Katie Johnson testimony, which, of course, we'll watch it more in its entirety. I don't think you have any place to really sit here to judge or, ask those questions. Those people, I believe, went through what they went through. It'd be a different story if it's like the Ashley Parham situation, right? Her lawsuit with Diddy. Oh, she was attacked, and then it was Drewski and another former football player rolling all over her, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? It's just some crazy allegations that came out, right? Or there was a shootout, and she was dodging, and one of the people that was actually R-ing her came over to her and goes, hey, wait a second, I'm an undercover cop. That's just crazy stuff to me. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to believe. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that what happened to her isn't true, but at the same time, it's a little bit hard to believe. But then when you hear these testimonies, these things, these reports, and when they already said, hey, there's truth, or that that Pam Bondi or the Trump administration is saying, yeah, those allegations of certain things happening is actually real. I mean, shoot, how can we not believe this stuff, right? How can we sit here and challenge these particular people when they've said there is proof? We've heard it from Trump administration, Pam Bondi herself, right? So again,
Stop blaming yourself.
It was a long time, really.
Rose says Epstein's staff continued to reach out to her for more than a year, but she did not respond. She says she didn't immediately tell anyone, including the police, something she says she now regrets.
Did Jeffrey Epstein rape you?
Yeah, no, he raped me. Forcefully raped me. But knew exactly what he was doing. And I don't think cared. What hurts even more so is that if I wasn't afraid to come forward sooner, then maybe he wouldn't have done it to other girls. I feel really guilty. To this day, I feel really guilty.
Rose said,
and here's another situation where you have Trump. There's an opportunity for Trump to do the right thing, which is to expose the list, expose the information, because there are victims like this woman right here that want the information and all the stuff out here. And why are they hiding it? There are plenty of opportunities. Do you realize how much the world would be a better place if they got rid of some of these PDFs? Real talk.
she suffered from crippling anxiety, depression, and panic attacks for years until she finally confided in her mother, her then boyfriend, and 2 close friends. 3 told NBC News that she first told them about her interactions with Jeffrey Epstein a decade ago, the 4th about 6 years ago.
Have you ever tried to reach out to prosecutors and tell this story?
No, I did not. I was just too scared. I didn't really want to go, public with it.
You intend to file a lawsuit. What would you say to those who say a civil suit, lawyers, this is about getting money?
He hurt me badly. I prefer not to go through this. So, this is one way for me to get justice.
What does it take to find the courage to speak and tell your story?
It's a lot, even though maybe I don't look it because I'm so sad, but also happy tears because I'm able to, let myself go of this burden. I feel brave. I feel strong more than ever right now.
Again, guys, that is just one of the thousands of girls, allegedly. Okay, according to Pam Bondi, she said several hundreds, if not thousands, of girls. Okay? And yet there's still no list. I don't know about all that. Now, I know that there's people out here that are Trump supporters, and hey, support who you want to support. It's totally fine. It's just that moments like this that really, I truly believe, show you what kind of leader we have. This is a moment that he totally missed the ball. This is a big moment because now you have a lot of people looking at this situation and wondering how much of this is actually true, how much of the administration is lying, and how much is the administration telling the truth. That's the sad part of the whole thing. I want us all to win. I want justice for everybody. And if you go out here and you say for several years that there is a list and they're about to drain the swamp and they're about to blow the lid off this whole thing and all these monsters are going to be finally thrown in prison and they're going to be held accountable for the monstrous, deplorable things that they've done to these littles, I would expect you to do exactly as you said verbatim for several years. This was an opportunity for these people to step forward and do something right. And now we are seeing in real time a full-on cover-up. I don't know why this is happening. I really don't. I don't know what they're trying to protect. I don't know if they're trying to protect Trump or not. But there's something about this that just isn't right. And it's very, very sad. We need something better. Jaded, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Libra King, thank you. So, well, one, Jaded, again, I'm so sick of predators. And yep, I am sick of them too. You know, if they say drain the swamp, drain the mother-loving swamp, man. Right? Libra King, thank you so much for love. Please, people don't realize how big of a role women play in these ST rings. Absolutely. You know, they come in, they go, you're cute. You know, I got this guy, he'd love you, blah, 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 so on and so forth. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's bad. Come on in, be a part of be a part of the group. You're going to be around the creme de la creme. You're going to be around the elite of the elite, girl. Yeah, come through. You're going to love it, girl. Happens all the time, at least from what we're understanding now, right? They come in and they lure them in, and then they grab them. Libra King again, thank you so much. Are at least going after the people they say or they saw on the are they at least going after the people that they saw on those CP videos? That's what I'd like to know too. But you got to remember, they just said they saw the videos. They saw copious amounts of CP videos that will never see the light of day, will never be, exposed to the public, obviously. But they never disclosed whether or not it was just JE the entire time or if it was other people. They never disclosed that. And here's the other thing. Here's the most important part. So I'm going to get really close so you hear this. So if they do say that there are other people in the video, then that means there's a freaking list, guys. Yeah. That means that there's a list. Because for a fact, it doesn't mean that he has to literally have a little black book. It doesn't mean that he has to have a literal piece of paper that says Jeffrey Epstein's list. You know what I mean? It could just literally be people that he calls or they come in and do things. That's what the list is. So if there's other people that are involved and these littles are doing things with these grown age men or women too, that aren't JE, then there's a freaking list, man. Without question. There's a mother-loving list. So again, when you see stuff like this, it's like, come on, man. Miss me with the nonsense. If you say that you saw stuff, give us the details. Were the people in those videos all JE? Or were they different people? Because if they are different people, then there is a swamp that needs to be drained, period. But unfortunately, it all now is getting completely messed up. Do you realize it's like it was already a mess? Once the paperwork, when they said, oh, the list doesn't exist, blah, 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 it was already a muck. Like it was already mucky muck, right? It was already an absolute freaking mess. Okay. And then now he went in there and he just messed it up even more. Instead of trying to tidy up that mess that he just made, he's messing it up even more. But us smart individuals, us smart Americans are not going to sit there and listen to that and just believe it for what it is. We're not going to get confused. We're not going to allow ourselves to be sitting there going, I just don't understand. Is there a list or not? No, there's a list, y'all. There's most definitely a list. Like I said, it doesn't have to physically be there. Those people's names could appear a billion times in the files. And all you got to do is take all the names and just put them together in a list. You don't have to have a physical list. He doesn't have to literally have on a piece of loose leaf, oh, my besties, my best friends. No. You go through the paperwork, you go through the documents, you go through the videos, and you put the names down. There you got your list. So you can miss me with the nonsense saying that there is no list and the list doesn't exist, because it mother-loving does. And by Trump going out here and going, oh, no, there's nothing you need to see. Oh, well, as long as it's credible, give it out. Give it out to the people as long as it's credible. Wait, but you say credible now. So he's using these code words. Because now it's going to be like, well, is this stuff credible? Or they're going to sit there and go, well, this page ain't credible, so let's just rip it out of the whole file because it's not credible. We took out all the things that were questionable, whether or not they were credible, and it's going to be all the names that we need. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to play a fast one on us. That's it. Okay? They're trying to play a fast one on us. Look at this.
President Trump said his administration would release the Epstein files, but now he says those files are a hoax. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. Trump continuing to blame Democrats, claiming without providing evidence the party created these files to undermine him and that Republicans who believe it are getting duped. The president.
Do you understand? Do you realize? Do you see the mess? Let me just see this. Let me just say this. Do you not see the mess that he's trying to create? There's a mess here, guys. And he's he's still stirring the pot. Because again, if this was all done by the Democrats, why didn't he say this before? Why didn't he say this before, y'all? You don't have to be a Democrat to see through the BS here. In fact, MAGA supporters, I urge you to step outside of the MAGA hat. Okay? For 2 seconds and the American flag t-shirts, okay? Look back for 2 seconds and just take a look at the situation and tell me if this isn't already completely ass backwards.
Writing on social media today, their new scam is what we'll forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have bought into the BS hook, line, and sinker. Trump adding, let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore.
The president is now calling his own supporters weaklings. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success because I don't want their support anymore. Solely because the American people, majority of the American people, want exactly what he promised us. Like, I feel like this is the spouse. You know what I mean? What do you want me to do? I've been working hard. And the wife or the spouse is like, I want everything you promised me. Right? That's basically what the American people are saying right now. We want everything you promised us, man. It's as simple as that. Doesn't matter if you're red or blue. You come out, you're like, we're going to make America great again. Yeah, we're going to drill the baby drill. It's going to be the best you've ever seen. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Everything will be obliterated. It's going to be amazing. And then we ask for that stuff and you go, nope, we don't have that. Sorry. Now you're a weakling. Now you're just dumb. Now you're a bad person. Shame, shame. Because you want to know the truth on something that he's been playing with for years. Well, I tell you what, I will tell the truth and expose everything. Everyone will know. Okay. And everybody's been sitting at the edge of their seat, even people who are not supporters of Trump. They're going, well, I'll tell you what, he did say he's going to do certain things, and I do appreciate him being so transparent and real. He going to expose the dark underbelly of America. Let's get it, right? What did he do? Nah, nothing. Nothing, guys. Yep, yeah, he's busy just grabbing the boozy. You know what I mean? And again, like that's just, yep, just common sense. Common sense. But like I said, this is the wildest spin I have seen ever. There's other things that, like I said, there are other things where even you got like Trump translators. You know what I mean? Well, what Trump really meant was, and he didn't even say any of the words that he said. You know what I mean? He didn't even say those things. but there'll be somebody out there going, they are the ultimate Trump translator. I'm going to explain to you what Trump really said. It's like, no, he didn't really say that. And it was written down. So I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. Right? But go ahead, say what you need to say. It's like, yeah, everything, it was all about this thing. And then, you know what I mean? He's good at that. But this one's not sticking. There's a lot of people that are like, nah, I'm not with it. Except for the few that like the Charlie Kirks and the such that are like, well, I'm not talking about the Epstein thing anymore. I'm done talking about it. We're not talking about it anymore. Why? It's because Trump reached out to Charlie Kirk and said, hey, I really need you to stop talking about Epstein. And Charlie Kirk, who is basically Trump's lapdog, said, okay, I'll stop whatever you say. And what did he do? Next show he did, he said, we're not talking about Epstein anymore. We're done. We're moving on to greener pastures, guys. We're done talking about the Epi. And now you got him going, these weaklings, let these weaklings continue forward. And if you really want to know what's going on with the Epstein files, if you're so obsessed with this, then you're a bad person. How dare you? You're a sick-minded individual. The only reason why it's been in our head is because what you have been saying for years. So again, make this make sense, guys. It's bad, y'all. It's very, very bad. And he tried to spin it with the Rosie O'Donnell situation, and that didn't work. You realize that people were going, no, I'm not dumb. Because at first they're like, oh my God, Rosie O'Donnell. Oh, it's a travesty. Media, we're going to talk about. No, we're not. Media's like, no, we're not going to talk about it. No. We already know what he's trying to do. He's trying to do the Kansas City shuffle. He's trying to make us look left while he saunters away to the right. Right? Oh my God, Rosie O'Donnell. And he's like, yeah, you forgot about Epstein though. Bye. You know what I mean? Got him again. But nope. Media's like, nope, we're not letting up. We're going to keep on talking about this until there's actual transparency. He's not going to be able to live this down. And we've been seeing that in his posts and how he's been reacting. Everybody's wanting to know. Why is everybody, you know what I mean? Over and over again. He just won't die. You know what I mean? Ain't that some crazy stuff, y'all? Ain't that crazy? Well, we're going to see what happens here. Don't worry. We're still keeping an eye on all of this. Okay. We ain't done with this at all. As this continues to move forward, we will talk about it. But yes, there are other things we do need to talk about for sure. And we will be talking about those things as well. Okay. But that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Yeah. Natasha, if we actually did have a governmental reboot, that would be messy. I have a feeling it would be messy as hell. Messy as hell. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Oh, also, really quick, I heard something about a protest going on tomorrow. I heard that there was a protest going on tomorrow. I don't know if that's entirely true or not, but there was a rumor floating around saying that there's going to be a protest. For what? I don't know, but I am trying. I am trying to see what's going on with that. But apparently there is allegedly something going on in New York, if I'm correct. I think it's in New York, but I could be wrong. I'll let you guys know for sure. Okay, promise. But anyway, guys, again, I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Every single last one, y'all. It means a lot. So please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, hit that reaction button, please, and thank you. If you're watching on other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, please make sure you hit that follow button, that like button, or that subscribe button, whatever they say on those platforms, please and thank you. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel on YouTube. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. And also, please go to my new channel called Pascal Raw. Literally, it's just Pascal Raw. Go check it out. Okay, subscribe over there as well. And check out the first episode. New episodes come out every Sunday. All right. Please and thank you. It's just a straight up podcast. Okay. More unfiltered, more uncensored conversation over there as well. Okay. hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, check out my locals, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. And of course, I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. There's a lot that we need to talk about. There's a lot that we need to cover. So we will be talking about those things very, very soon. So I'll see you guys soon. All right. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.